8:15.
Oh, it's live. It's live.
Nothing safe. What's going on, guys? I'm Delirious. Welcome to My Cup of Tea, episode number 28. Joining me, as always, we have Carson.
Yeah, what's going on? Nathan and I decided to get our Godzilla versus Kong lighting on going. The Battle of the Beasts going here. I'm delirious too. I don't know what day is it. I don't know what time is it. We got some stuff to talk about. The penultimate episode of WandaVision is here, and it is glorious and emotional and unexpected and expected at the same time. So much of what we've been talking about the last few weeks. I don't think we could have predicted how it went down exactly, because it was just like, damn, this hurts more than expected, and I'm just worried about next episode. We'll get into it.
Also joining us, we have Evan.
Yeah, similar to you guys, I'm delirious as well. Running on about hour and a half of sleep last night. Not the best, but this whole week has been really fantastic in terms of movie, TV news, and everything going on. So I'm very excited to talk about WandaVision, Avatar, Superman, Supergirl. Geez, there's a lot of stuff. So I'm ready.
Yeah. I did not know what penultimate meant, I guess.
What?
Is that just mean second to last episode?
Yes.
I didn't know. No one taught me.
I will screen share the definition for you.
No one taught me the TV etiquette.
I need to get my teacher's license in Florida, and I can just teach Nathan
Hold on,
and all
hold
the
on.
Florida people.
Hold on.
What penultimate means. Oh man, I say it a lot because Mark Ellis on Collider used to always say penultimate. And I used to got it from him.
Right.
Wow. Okay. Wow. There we go.
Oh, I spelled it.
We got him.
It looks like penal ultimate.
Okay. All right.
That's beautiful. What is happening?
I thought there
Let's
was
show
a T.
everybody.
I thought there was a T in there, and then I typed it in.
Oh, you thought it was penultimate?
I thought it was
Penultimate. P-E-N.
Okay. Anyway,
Previously on WandaVision.
that was like the video I saw the other day where someone thought Tupperware was Tupperware. And they thought it was like that their entire life. Anyways, it was hilarious.
Pretty bad. What's going on with you two?
Previously on trauma, we got a lot of it today. We're gonna break it down, the whole thing, starting from the beginning all the way back.
I'm so excited.
We're going to the Salem witch trials, boys.
93 was it? I think Salem, Massachusetts.
Yeah, something like that. Evan's the teacher here.
Wow. Yes, I teach about witchcraft.
Hell yeah, I get straight A's all the time.
Yeah,
Chaos magic.
As soon as it started, I'm like, "Is this some Scarlet Letter shit going on? Like, what's going on here?" But I was close. Salem witch trials.
Oh man, which was really cool to see. I was like, I did never expect to see this in the MCU. Like, it was so long ago.
Yeah, I liked it. Like in the Marvel Studios logo turned purple. That was pretty cool.
Loved it.
With a mist.
With the mist, purple mist, really cool. And then we get the whole Agatha Harkness witch backstory here, which is pretty true to the comic books. I mean, at least what I know of the comic books, I don't know a lot about Agatha Harkness, besides her being an antagonist of some sort to Wanda.
Besides the occasional weekly comic screenshots that we'll get per episode.
Exactly right. But I think somebody told me in the comic books that she gets burned alive, like burned on the stake, and that she does live for a long time though. Like she does get the whole life energy, whatever. So that part is pretty accurate. But I thought that was pretty cool. It was kind of unexpected. I didn't think we'll see some kind of backstory for her. I think I said this last week, right? Like I said, she's going to be an antagonist, but one that we can kind of sympathize with. By the looks of it, not so much. For this show, I thought we were going to get into her own mother tried to kill her. Maybe we can kind of sympathize with that. But then she like does a lot of weird and crazy shit this episode. So I don't think we can kind of sympathize with her, at least a lot.
Yeah. It's kind of like morbid. It's like morbid curiosity. Like, oh, how did you do this? Like, and just kind of like, honestly, to me, it's like she just wants to like discover that power, and at least that's what the vibe I'm getting right now. And of course, her way of going about it is absolutely just like tearing Wanda down and getting to the bottom of all that. But yeah, it's just like interesting to get her backstory in the beginning, and then, man, just to say it right at the bat, Catherine Hahn in this episode, phenomenal. Like, I just all the stuff of like, I just like seeing her like all of a sudden pop back up like we were mid trauma in the memory, and you just see her pop up and she'd be like, "Oh, Wanda," and I'd be like, "Just shut up."
You're having an emotional moment.
Oh, it's too good.
Yeah, the opening was pretty phenomenal. Some gnarly corpses. Well done, Marvel. It was really great. I loved seeing like the stylized magic, seeing all that. The de-age effect on Catherine Hahn. Not a lot of people are talking about, Marvel signature technology.
I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, I didn't even notice it either. I'm looking at her face the entire time. I'm like, that's her in beautiful makeup because she still looks pretty young. She's great.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, did they de-age her also? I couldn't really tell.
I was like thinking at first, I was like, did they de-age? And then when I saw her like in person, I was like, okay, so yeah, a little bit, but like
just a tad.
She's still like Catherine Hahn, like so. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was really great seeing just the path there. It's interesting, like why she chose to go such a dark path. Maybe I need to watch Robert Eggers' The Witch. I don't know.
I was thinking the same thing. As soon as I saw the Salem Witch Trials, I'm like, is Anya Taylor-Joy around the corner? Is she coming up here? But
yeah, it kind of like looked like she like was using the power in a way that was against the rules or something. That's what they say explicitly. And so I kind of like it that it's a mystery, honestly, that like we don't have to like explicitly answer like, oh, how did she break the rules? The fact that she just did and kind of just wants the maximum potential of what she can do.
Right. Yeah. It kind of really doesn't matter what deep desire she had. It seems like they're all witches, but then she like broke the rules and did something like darker, kind of like in Doctor Strange, where they're like, oh, you used the dark dimension. You're not supposed to do that. Like, you're only supposed to use clean magic, not this dark magic.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then her purple dark magic kind of like overpowered everybody else's, which was pretty fascinating. Even her mother, when her mother was trying to kill her, you saw like like a blue crown go above like her mother's head a little bit. It's kind of reminiscent of Wanda's crown.
But does she serve Mephisto? I don't care.
It doesn't matter anymore. I'm glad that the show convinced us otherwise.
I mean, it scares me that like the last episode will have Mephisto. I'm like, I didn't have time for you.
I know, because everybody's all like, well, they gotta set up Doctor Strange too, Evan. I mean, you never know. It could be the rabbit. I'm like, shut up.
I think this episode did an excellent job of like doubling down on its emotional and like plot self and how everything it's built towards. Yeah. Not only in the Agatha reveal from last week, but also, finally seeing the Hex being created and giving Wanda that just like it's just her. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like this. Where it's like, oh, the outside forces. And we're like every week we're like, oh, the X-Men are going to be formed and blah 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 blah. I'm just glad that it just focused on the emotional turmoil that was happening, and I thought it was really well layered and really done amazing in this episode. And some of the scenes we're about to get into, oh man, I love them.
Yeah, Elizabeth Olsen is so good. I think she has shined the most since she's been in the MCU.
Easily.
Yeah, it's just been so good. I love I've been such like a fan of Wanda like since the get-go, but like especially here it just like keeps reminding me why. I mean, it just takes like the character-centric moments instead of just building on like the wacky crazy stuff.
And it came up with a good reason for. I thought the whole sitcom aspect being an extension of like her own safe zone within her memories was fascinating, and I love how that was actually layered into the story. Like,
I called it, but yeah, I love it a lot. So yeah, well, breaking all that just from the get go, we get like a little bit more.
Did we lose Nathan?
You kind of cut out for me, Nathan.
Uh, uh,
Nathan? Maybe.
Just a bit.
talk of
But
Agatha Harkness is taking over.
purple chaos magic. But while Nathan tries to like figure that out, though, yeah, the whole reveal of like Wanda coming into Agatha Harkness's lair, kind of like we see a continuation of that scene, everything going on. It looks very much like a Doctor Strange area, kind of like a realm. People keep referencing the book in the room, the book and the rabbit. Do you think that has anything to do with a possible Doctor Strange 2 villain? It doesn't seem like it. But
I don't think so. I think it's just more of
I don't think
kind
so
of a
either.
textual thing that's in there
Okay.
to build out the world. But I don't know. The main thing for me is like how this was like an interrogation scene. Honestly, that's what it felt like to me. It was like you have no power here. Like immediately, like she tries to use her magic to get into her head or do something, and Agatha's is like, you've never had access to my head. Like, I've been playing along this entire time. And then, like, even by the end of the scene, she's like, your kids are running around in my demon basement. Like, like how do you, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And so we just get this whole, it's a little bit of exposition, but it's done so, like, tensely that, like, it just worked. Like, we start to understand, like, that she wants to figure out how Wanda did it. And then, man, Catherine Hahn is so good. It just reminded me of the Rey and Kylo interrogation a little bit,
right? Yeah. Or like pushing her back and forth, getting up close to her, feeling her face. I'm
the
like,
bird, like throwing it, like I'm like, oh my God,
that was amazing. But in the scene, we also get a little bit of a explanation of some sort about fake Pietro, where Agatha says like she used Pietro. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how she described it, but
she said like as his eyes and ears. She didn't like create him.
Yeah. Which in a sense, like Agatha's using him as a golem, really, in a sense, like a inanimate object to try and pry information out of Wanda, which is where you got like the whole fake Pietro talking to Wanda during the Halloween episode, like, so how'd you do this, Wanda? How'd you do this? Like, what's going on here? Now we can kind of look at that retroactively and think, oh, this is Agatha trying to get information again from Wanda, like we saw throughout this entire episode, about how exactly did she do all this? How exactly did she create the hex? Yeah. So very fascinating. But yeah, and we got no explanation about fake Pietro too, which I'm fine with. I'm perfectly fine with. I said from the beginning, like, I don't think fake Pietro is from the multiverse or anything. I thought it was constructed from Wanda herself, but it just seems like this seemed to be just a creation from Agatha, in the sense that she couldn't get real Pietro because he's in Sokovia and full of bullets, so she just created somebody, and it's a nice gag that is the guy from Days of Future Past, that it's somebody else, which is cool.
Hello.
Yeah, I had to look at the specific line.
Hello.
Because I can't remember what she said.
We can hear you. Oh, we thought we did.
But I thought the specific line was like, because Wanda says that was you, and I think she literally says like, in a sense, I just took over, like that was eyes and ears.
Nope.
Yeah.
So, Nathan, can you hear us? Frozen. Okay.
It's weird, back and forth. But yeah, kind of like eyes and ears. It was fascinating. I'm fine not getting a full explanation. We might see fake Pietro again, though, in the finale, because we didn't get a real conclusion to the scene with him and Monica. So, which from last week's like cliffhanger post-credit scene. So, we might see more of fake Pietro again, which is cool.
Yeah, and it's going to be. I can't believe we're at the finale already. I mean, it's been
That's crazy,
episodes,
right?
wow, what a show! And it's just been fantastic.
We'll talk about it next week in terms of how I think this show is such a great show and it might compare to the other Netflix or the other MCU shows by the end of the year, because this show is just batting out of the park. It's setting a very high bar for these MCU shows, and I hope the other shows can compete with it, but we'll see. I'm trying to look through my notes here to see if I missed anything else. And one of my funny lines was like, she had magic on autopilot in terms of like how she was like trying to explain how Wanda's crazy powers were reaching even the edge of the hex, saying like, you had magic on autopilot. People are making breakfast and stuff, and you still don't have full control, which is amazing.
Yeah, and it goes to the whole kind of something I wanted to get into. We'll get into a little bit later. Is kind of the explanation and kind of like, Wanda already had, powers a little bit, and then it was like amplified is kind of how I think of it by the stone. Yeah. And so when I think of the bomb kind of scene, I think about like, and then they think about the ending of like, oh, the chaos magic. Like I think Wanda has always kind of had this ability to control things. It was just pretty much unlocked, and truly kind of the potential of it was unlocked by the Tesseract. It's funny that
the Mind Stone.
Yeah, the Mind Stone. Sorry, it's funny that we, of course, that one shot we were like, "Oh, it was in the trailer," and then we finally get that. I'm like, "Damn it!"
Episode 8. That's crazy.
Because it ruined my Vision theory, and it cleared my other one. But
you're right.
It's a whole deal. But
we'll get into all that Vision stuff. That's really depressing.
The next scene is the Nathan. Are you back?
Am I?
You seem good.
You are back. Yep. You're back.
Yeah, Tro. All right.
So what's your take on? Do you think everyone was saying that he was kind of fine with like the no explanation kind of, but also it was kind of an explanation, because I think she says like, I was just kind of the eyes and ears. So it was kind of ambiguous in terms of like, did she create him / like did she just take over him? So that it's still up in the air. What was your take on it?
Yeah.
No.
Oh no.
Look, man, you can still mind control an alternate universe being.
You sure could. When do you think she would explain that, saying like, I grabbed this guy from the multiverse? And wouldn't she say that?
I don't think
I don't think she has to.
I still think it would be accidental that he would be from the multiverse.
I think Mr. Fietro can do it himself when Vision wakes him up, like I predict.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but yeah. Look, I'm talking multiverse explanation again. That's just where I am. Every week I come on, every day I wake up and I swear it's multiverse Pietro. Every day I wake up and you don't just cast Evan Peters.
Oh man.
But real quick before I was cut off, I was just saying I really liked how we were discussing witchcraft at the beginning and how everything was like on display. And how she thought Wanda knew stuff, but she didn't. Where are we in the explanation? Where are we in the timeline? Are we in Sokovia yet?
Yeah, we're just about to head into the first flashback. Yeah.
Okay. We go in there via a hair thread, kind of like Doctor Strange pulling from Thor to get to Norway in Ragnarok. That's cool. Carson's favorite, but
hey now.
We head in there and like immediately I was like, oh, this is phenomenal. And God, the theory stuff eats at my brain like way too often that when we were like panning over, like 0.0001% of my brain panning over to her father, I was like, Michael Fassbender. It's not.
Me too. I'm like, that's not Magneto. What's going on?
Yeah, I was like, real quick, I was like, no, because I know canonically what they look like.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. All right. But yeah, it keeps going. And it was really great seeing just, young Wanda and her family and her love of sitcoms and stuff. That was really great. It's also interesting how it just like dials back to like the Age of Ultron look specifically when like her hair was a lot darker. Also, Pietro didn't have white hair whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because, man, they both dyed their hair. It's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just really nice to like see them as like a happy family and stuff. And then as soon as like I'm like in the middle of this happiness, then like my brain remembered, and I was like, if the Stark bomb drops, I'm going to cry. And then you just see like there's this gunfire outside on the streets, and it's bad. I'm just like, oh my god, this is horrible.
Can we just say before we get into like the bomb stuff of like Agatha's taunting of like that's your cue and like making her like the camera like pivots into her like little Wanda. I'm like, oh my god, that is horrible. Like
it is, but it's so well done.
So well done. It was beautifully shot. And one of my favorite lines from little Wanda here was she was like the sitcoms, or why she loved the sitcoms was because they were a big source of happiness for her, and no matter what happened, by the end of the episode, things would turn out okay. And I'm like, geez.
And it's even more emphasized in the scene with her and Vision later.
Yeah. It kind of gave me a reaction. I'm like, we'll get into it in terms of our final predictions for the finale, but she connected the sitcoms to a source of happiness, saying like by the end of the episode, especially like the Victor Van Dyke Show, her favorite episodes, she would say like by the end of it, everything would turn out okay. And I'm like, is that a clue for the finale that everything is not going to turn out okay, or that it is in fact going to turn out okay for her? So like, which side of this are we getting? Are we getting the connection to Vic Van Dyke, or the opposite, where WandaVision is not like Vic Van Dyke? This is a real scenario. This is not a TV show.
We have a multiverse of madness to explore.
I know.
And the thing is, so I've been thinking about it, and I still think the children are real. But with all the Vision stuff we'll talk about, I think this show's closure is more going to be letting go of the hex and getting over that emotional grief, and I think it'll be a nice tie into the sitcoms of like Wanda kind of being like, you know, her episode in a sense of like her life isn't that kind of episode. It's not perfect, and she kind of has to like embrace this grief and just let it go. In the sense of moving on. And I would like that to happen versus like I don't think Vision's gonna live in the sense of what we know of him anymore. Because I think the two Visions are gonna fight, and because remember we still have Hex Vision, and now we have Vision body, and so I think whatever that results in, it could be a compromise, and like Wanda needs all of her strength back in order to take down this White Vision, and like they would maybe there's a scene where they have to say goodbye to each other, like Hex Vision and Wanda had to say goodbye to each other.
Not again.
Oh my god!
And then the "I feel you" thing is gonna come back in that moment. And
Carson, stop it.
That's where my head is going.
It's already a comeback.
I know. Third time's a charm.
Don't call it a comeback.
Don't call it a comeback.
Okay,
been here for years.
I just had to get that out because that's where my speculation is going towards the end of the show. I'll reel it back.
You know what? Me too.
No,
I don't want it to happen, but
get out of here.
Man. We'll get into that later, though.
Fight you.
He's got.
What I loved about this, though. Never mind. Okay, we're getting into the missile part, right?
Yes, missiles.
Yeah.
Yes. Trauma.
Which is crazy, right?
Did she stop it? I want to hear. Did you?
I was about to ask that. Like, for me, I think she did. Subconsciously, I think she did. Because it kind of goes into what we've been saying in terms of like the Marvel website for years now has kind of retconned Age of Ultron and Avengers, the first Avengers, saying like Wanda and Pietro got their powers amplified by the Mind Stone. They weren't given to them by the Mind Stone. So now this TV show is finally confirming it to the wider audience, saying,
which
I think Wanda unintentionally was just always a mutant. They're not saying mutant yet, but she was unintentionally a mutant. And she accidentally used her Hex Chaos witch powers on the missile to stop it from activating.
I can see like maybe in that moment when she was like reaching out before she was probably pulled back by her brother, that maybe in that moment she just switched it off and wasn't aware, and then they were just there for a couple of days. So in her mind, she did think they were just waiting. because she didn't know what was inside her, because it was already such a small like amount in her that would have fizzled out without the Mind Stone.
Right. And I like the idea of Agatha being like this trained witch and like over the generations, and then Wanda being this manufactured witch in a sense. Like, I mean, she had this power, but all of her trauma and stuff has come from that power as well, of like all these things that have happened in her life, of like, being radicalized, one, by the event that happened to her parents, and then two, going in and basically being like a scapegoat, and then like just it just knocks the dominoes all the way down the line of like this different kind of power. And then to finally, when we get that shot later on of just like her looking up into the Mind Stone, you just see her and her, it's amazing. Like, I love the culmination of like, okay, her power is amplified, and then we're going to explore it through her memories in this episode. So well done.
I was just shocked more so of like when the bomb went off. Like, it was just in the middle of the TV show. They were just having a good family time. And there's bad stuff outside. You hear the gunshots and everything, but the bomb just immediately comes out. I'm just shocked by it all. I mean, that was really threw me off the loop.
Yeah, the cut was intense. Wait, cut around there. Also, like, before we even start on this journey, Catherine Hahn's or Agatha, she's like really intrigued about Wanda's power so much. Kind of also like reconfirmed my theory that like a lot of like the stuff that's going on in the background, magic on autopilot, she describes a sense of like Wanda like unaware of what's even further going on. Which theorized. So
when we were when you cut out, we were kind of talking about how that kind of culminates in the chaos magic line later on of like this stuff that's happening, and can change anything to her will, and stuff that like may or may not be happening in the background, or intentionally through her grief, or unintentionally through her grief. So it's just like a mix of things. It's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. And so we go a little further into the Hydra door, and it's like, oh god, no.
And she even says, she's like, I don't want to go back there. And I'm like,
no.
And she's like, you already lived there once, it'll be fine, or whatever.
I don't think she would want to go back to any of these spots, honestly.
I'm like, what? All right, Agatha, let's put your hair into the thing, and then you can go back to your stupid little witch trials.
Yeah. Get killed by your mother again. How about that? Yeah, you like that?
Yeah. God.
I'm curious, when did we first see the whole post-credit scene with Wanda and Pietro in Hydra's Was that Winter Soldier?
That was the end of Winter Soldier,
yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I always did love that post-credit scene. It's one of my favorites, because it's a big WTF moment where you see Wanda Maximoff for the first time using chaos magic. And we see her again like with a similar outfit, similar hairstyle, and she looks very much like just depressed and dead and out of it, which was pretty crazy.
Yeah. It's like it was such like an impactful and credit scene too, because like the very last shot you see that is just like Wanda like moving back and then shatter together. so good. It's so good. I think that was the first time at that point when it said return in Age of Ultron. It's always a treat when it's like, oh, the title confirmation. But yeah. Yeah. It's fun, but yeah, they already are like full power set by the start Age Ultron, so this is like a nice little like,
yeah, they're pretty powerful.
yeah, I'd say like this is like right before the end credit scene though.
Nathan, we were talking. This is the shot that we were talking about from the trailer. Like, oh, it's the stuff.
Yeah, I figured as much, and I was like, is there even any more trailer footage?
I know.
But
isn't it crazy how much trailer footage we've seen, like in comparison to like Mando season 2, where we're like we don't have a clue what happens in these final couple of episodes,
and we even got
we got a lot.
Yeah, we even got like the like when they first like that shot, they're like leaning back, and then like you got the end of that
from the big game spot sizzle reel.
Like, over a year ago. 8.
That's
episode
insane.
8.
And then I remember seeing one trailer where Wanda's like, "We got to protect our home." I'm like, I guess that's finale. I mean,
that's probably the finale. Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like, I thought I was being so careful not seeing a lot of trailers for this stuff, but I guess it's unavoidable. It's going to show shit.
That's why I stopped. This is why I didn't watch the last Falcon Winter Soldier trailer, because there's only 6 episodes.
I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, I probably saw Falcon in the last episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. hoarding
Y'all,
the shield and
yeah,
stuff.
literally, it's already such a limited series, and y'all are gonna watch another trailer. I was like,
Yeah,
no.
I'm a sucker for it. I know. It's not the best, but yeah,
Meanwhile,
I did
watching
love.
every Godzilla comic.
I know, Nathan. Yeah, nice perspective here.
I'm a hypocrite.
But I did love this because, like Nathan said, this is right before the post credit scene from Winter Soldier. We see her walking into it, and we see the scepter, which is really cool. It kind of reminded me just how funny it is that Marvel early on had like the scepter being blue, even though the Mind Stone is yellow. It was kind of weird, confusing to people.
Yeah.
It was like, it was just weird. But I liked it because we always know in terms of the scepter, in terms of the Mind Stone, people see different things in terms of when they come into contact with the Mind Stone. And in this case, apparently a lot of people apparently died from the touch with the Mind Stone, which is fascinating.
Yeah.
Because one of the scientists was like, maybe we shouldn't tell her and then he gets cut off by the lead scientist. And Wanda comes up to it, and that's when we get that incredible scene between her and the Mind Stone. Oh, nice. Lovely.
This doesn't fit anymore since I lost weight, but I need to resize it. It's great, but yeah.
But yeah, I love the scene overall. It's a very cool scene. Comes into contact with the Mind Stone for the first time, kind of explodes in her face. And we see a vision of apparently the future, which is incredible. I did not see this coming.
The ultimate Scarlet Witch outfit.
Oh, man.
Like, serious, not Halloween. Like, full. I cannot wait to see that.
Doctor Strange 2, baby.
Yeah.
I think even next episode. I don't know.
Wow, really? Who's going to make her costume?
Her,
yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. She creates.
See how many wardrobes we've had?
Yeah. Okay, you're right. Okay.
But I mean, also
that makes sense.
We have trauma, so I don't know if she's like looking for fashion right now.
Yeah, who knows? Gosh, but yeah, overall, this scene is really great. Now, remind me. Do we go to S.W.O.R.D next, or do we go?
No, we go to Civil War.
Yes, real quick before this,
the
little end clip of the scientists discussing because they were looking at a video clip of
what happened to Wanda. Cuts, yeah,
and the cuts,
which just is like in the show.
Exactly, which is just like the show. Because remember, we were all like, maybe there's a third party who's editing this stuff out from Wanda, or maybe it is Wanda unknowingly. And I guess that's it. Maybe Wanda unknowingly, or maybe she mastered the ability to. Whenever something traumatic or big happens, her powers just blocks it out, which is so fascinating. Because I'm like, what did they see when they were seeing it not via the recording, but just watching Wanda? Did they also see the same thing then, or maybe they're trying to replay it?
Maybe the blast was like too intense, and it's possible.
You're right. Okay,
and it's possible that like while Wanda was like standing there, maybe that was like more slowed down for us.
Okay.
Also, I love the shot when like she's in her like cell later. How like the TV turns off and Wanda and Agatha are standing behind.
Ooh, yes, in the reflection. I love that little reveal.
That's pretty great. But then then Agatha's like, okay, I have a theory, but I need a little more. And I'm just like, oh, don't make me go to Civil War. And then I see her, and I'm like, oh. But also, I think it's a little bit before Civil War because the primary focus is on the like Pietro loss.
Yep. It seems in terms of the chronology of it all, 2014 was Winter Soldier. Cap leaves in that year. 2015 is like that blank year. We don't know what's happening. And then 2016 is Civil War. So this seems to be like a 2015 Wanda before she starts helping out Team Cap and everything. And it's pretty cool. I love it. The room's pretty nice. I love the room. I always did. And this whole era is just really...
I miss Avengers Compound so much.
Me too, right? Like we didn't get enough of it. We never really.
Right.
We saw
that was my same thing with Avengers Tower. I was like, I need more.
Exactly. Like we see at the end of Age of Ultron, but then Civil War is like, we just.
It's nice to like see it like actually like have like a human space. Like I feel like too much the compound is like, here's the gray concrete cellar where the heroes plan their next move. You know, even in like Endgame, it's just like a like.
I remember
gray like area, and I'm like, okay, this is just
whatever, there'll be like little moments where like Tony's like arguing in Civil War, and he's like, "Who put coffee grounds in the disposal?" And I'm just like, "I want the full show of this."
Right, because they live there, and it's like you know they're people too, and so it's just interesting.
It also like I'll think back to like the end of Homecoming, where like Peter gets offered like a place to stay here. He's like, Vision next door. Like I'm like, what? The concept is too good.
We need it.
I need Disney Plus shorts at least. Like we're getting like the I Am Groot shorts. give me Avengers Compound.
Yeah, I'll direct it. Just be like, hey, Elizabeth Olsen, just be yourself, and Paul, just be yourself. Just hang out together and just
hijinks, please. Just order Avengers order a pizza. Come on, something like that.
What was he making in Civil War? Like paprika or something like that. So
Pepperkish, stuff like that. Yeah, I love it. But yeah, then we have probably my favorite scene.
Probably the best scene in the whole series.
I think so. With Malcolm in the middle.
Yes, it was. Yeah. You caught me. Okay, more so because of Malcolm in the middle than the following emotional scene, but it all comes together. It all works together. I loved it.
He's not actually hurt.
But no, it was so cute. Like the whole scene, and then like Vision comes through the wall the exact same way as Civil War, and I'm just like, I'm in 2016 again when things were simple. And we fought in an airport, and that was the biggest thing ever. Like,
his little like embarrassed smile because he can't really blush, and I'm like, oh my god,
no, it's so good.
I was grinning ear to ear from this entire scene, even though it is very emotional. I'm just like, I love this era, even though it is very emotional for Wanda. She just lost her brother, but she's having a great scene with Wanda and Vision, and we've had like 8 episodes up to this point of them together, so it's not really surprising, but it just is in terms of the time context of it all.
But it's also
for her.
It's also real Vision. It's like it's
actual. You're right. That's it, dude. And it's like I just wanted more of this. Like people were like, I just want more of this. Real Vision, real Wanda, happy times together before everything gets turned to shit.
Yeah, can we just say that they put the Infinity War clips in the pre-show this week?
Yeah.
It hurt me.
Yeah. It hurt me. I'm sending Marvel my therapy bills.
But just thinking about like that, the scene that we just saw in this episode, and I think to them just like walking to the train station, just like the evolution from that. It's just like maybe I don't catch that train,
and that's
or the next one. And
Stop it,
dude.
Hold on, I'm gonna come back to that because. Remind me to come back to the whole train station scene later.
I know where you're going with that.
I know, but also it's great because we know like in Infinity War, Vision's like even more human, but like in the Civil War era, he's like just starting to get there
to figure it out, right?
Which is great. And then because he's still speaking very like philosophical with things, but like, oh my god, the best thing I've ever heard Vision say. He said something along the lines of like, "What is grief if not love persisting?"
Persevering,
and I just
oh my god, tears. I'm like, I'm tearing up a little bit. I'm like, it's such a beautiful quote from a Marvel show too. I'm just like, god damn.
Put that on my tombstone.
God. I mean, I'm gonna use it all the time now. It's like I'm gonna fucking trademark that shit. It's so good.
and then they just get back to laughing, and they share like a really cute moment, a moment that like. It doesn't have to go like all the way full advanced romantic. It's just like a nice moment where they just share a smile and back at the screen, and it's so cute. It's and beautiful. Wanda's looking, and she's missing it so much, and then they cut back around, and it's gone, and I hate life. And then Agatha's like, so here's everyone that you've lost.
Here's the bullet point list. He's dead. She's dead. Blah blah. I'm just like,
get out of here. Get out of here.
I hate her.
And then she's just like, but how?
Mm-hmm. But it's just like egging her on.
What did you do, Wanda?
I don't want to keep going, but you're so close. And here's what you wanted to do. And she's like, you're right. And then. That's when we're going to S.W.O.R.D, and I'm like, because I thought
he's lying.
Which also, thank God they didn't put me through Infinity War again, another angle. You imagine, like we're just like running around like a Wakandan hallway or something. And I'm just like, don't make me do this, man.
Right, because we had Dust back, right? So I guess
This is 2023 Wanda,
so we. "Quote unquote" storm S.W.O.R.D, but not really, because the footage was a lot more aggressive than what we saw.
Than what actually happened.
Real.
She just pull up in like a Prius and just walk inside, but like,
and that's the vibe I got like right from the get go. It's like she was like, "No, it's all right, I got it," and then I thought she was gonna just like boom, but it was like a very minimal door open. I was like, hold on.
Yeah.
Wait, and then we're going on, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was fully because I think the clip that Hayward showed in a previous episode was her jumping down, glass shattering, which is exactly what happened. I think he just took that clip and just didn't left out all the other context. Yeah, he didn't play it out or anything. I'm like, you missed a part where she's just feeling on Vision. I'm just like, but he had the whole like freaking cocky smile when she's talking to him. I'm just like, oh, I hate this guy so much.
Yeah, and then he's like, 3 billion of vibranium. You can't just walk out of here. Yada yada yada. Ugh.
And Wanda the whole time, she just wants a proper burial, like at the very least. She calls herself his next of kin, and I cried.
Oh my god.
Oh man, and also Hayward like brought up a point of like Wanda being able to bring people back to life, but I'm like, what did she previously show to signify that? Who are you?
Yeah.
I'm thinking the same thing, dude. I'm like, hey, you can like bring people back to life. Even she was like, I don't think I can. Like, what are you talking about? So that was kind of weird. At this point, I don't even know.
See a scroll.
That part was really weird to me. But otherwise,
it makes me think that there's something. But yeah,
possibly
could be. Yeah.
But let me just focus on emotions. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole emotional part of this was so powerful. It's like she's his next of kin. You see through the dialogue that Hayward kind of thinks of Vision as some kind of robot, as some kind of inanimate object that's government property somehow.
Yeah.
Which is great, a great tease for what we're going to see in Falcon and Winter Soldier, right? So Hayward thinks Vision is the property of, I guess, the government or whatever, which is going to be the same scenario Falcon's going to find himself in Falcon and Winter Soldier, where
those damn Accords.
The government thinks that the Captain America name is government property. So even though Cap gave you the shield, we don't want you to be the next Captain America, which is going to be interesting.
The MCU just further proving that Team Cap was the correct choice the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a Team Iron Man guy, though. But
what? Because it's cool. Because they're cool.
Exactly. You caught me.
Fight for what's right, Evan. You can get cool clothes later.
It's Tony Stark. Come on.
No, he didn't want it.
Yeah.
He was guilty.
Yeah.
He literally denounced them at the end of the movie.
He really did, yeah. But I have a question to ask you guys, though. So far, especially in this scene where Wanda's having a huge argument with Hayward, they're really making it seem like S.W.O.R.D is the a-holes of this series. And it seems like Hayward really is being that big a-hole. But S.W.O.R.D is going to be our shield for the next phase 4 and 5 beyond.
Which is fascinating.
So, like,
I was saying,
what's going on here?
Give me Director Monica to replace Hayward.
Yeah, it's got to happen.
That's going to be my prediction.
It's the same thing of, like, when Fury had to answer to, like, the Security Council of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agreed.
And Alexander Pierce as well. Like,
yeah, okay. That makes sense.
It's like what? It's kind of like just this. I don't think there's like. I think he just might be corrupt and kind of maybe the absence of those 5 years of just like stuff happening that he just kind of became that a little bit.
Yeah. Interesting. You're right. That could easily be it because I don't see him like dying in the finale. He's not that like
I don't know.
Major.
I wonder if they'll keep him around. I have no idea.
That's the question I have to ask, though, right? Because in terms of our perspective, he's doing something super awful because we connect with Vision. But in terms of S.W.O.R.D and the government perspective, what do they have to fire him for? Right? Like, what would they fire him? Saying like, "Oh, you were doing bad things." So he was just doing what the government
you were like, "Oh, you were being harsh." Like,
yeah. So like, even though I do want like what Nathan said, like I think Monica being the leader of S.W.O.R.D would be fantastic, and it's probably where they're going to be going. But I just don't know how they're going to get there. But you know,
and I like there being conflict there as long as it keeps going in kind of a reasonable way and not like over the top, like bad just to be bad. You know, like I kind of would like a little more characterization if they keep him later on of like, you know, and we kind of already got that, like you weren't here for, you know, whatever. And so I think totally that could be the motivation of like, you know, you had there was no event. I mean, there was Avengers in a sense, but I mean, it was like little Zoom calls where Rocket was off wherever, and you know,
Zoom call.
A little Black Widow was eating a peanut butter sandwich, like it
full
wasn't
hologram too.
Disgusting.
So it wasn't like they were showing up in Quinjets and just taking out bad guys. It was just they couldn't even find Clint.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we found him. We just didn't.
They just
pursue
ignored
that
him.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was like
He's
a
mass
whole
murdering
cartel.
let him be him. Yeah. But we also like there's a possibility we could see Hayward in a number of these different upcoming MCU shows. He could easily show up in Armor Wars, like the Hawkeye series. Like, he can show up in a number of different
Secret
TV series.
Invasion, maybe.
Secret Invasion, exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
interesting character. He's an asshole, of course, but he's just he's good at playing the asshole. He's good to root against.
I hate him. I hate him so much.
But yeah, the biggest part about this, the big WTF, that she just walks outside without the body. She doesn't come back inside. And
No, it's not. Let's not leave yet. Let's cry some more. Let's.
Okay, yeah, let's cry.
She can't feel
Let's
him.
break that
Evan.
glass.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Let's break that glass and go down and inspect this horrific sight.
First, can we just say that she doesn't even like recognize him in the first place when she's like, I want you to see something, and then they go over to the window and she's like, oh, what is this? Like, what are you talking about? And then she double takes and sees his face, and I'm just like,
This. Oh my god, they're like lost fingers. Like, everything is just so broken down. I was like, why?
Yeah, they were cutting open his head a little bit.
I am once again asking who gave you the body.
Yeah, at this point, just like, did Cap and everybody know? Like, what was going on?
I don't know. I mean, I guess Wakanda was in disarray for 5 years, but like, who the hell got into Wakanda to like get the body? Because I guess amidst its disarray, I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, let's yeah, she like walks up to it and immediately she just starts like feeling within like where the stone used to be, where she was feeling before. God, yeah, it's so sad when she's just like, I can't feel you, and she just starts to break down. And a lot of people are pointing out that that's a big parallel to Infinity War, which of course it is. But my first initial thought was back in Age of Ultron, before Vision even woke up and she felt the casket of him dreaming.
Oh,
wow. That's what I first thought of, and I am a mess.
yeah.
Man, it's so big.
It's super depressing. One of the most depressing moments of the entire series. Like, I can't feel you. I didn't even make the Infinity War connection. I kind of forgot about that. But
I made a film parallel to E.T. In that moment.
Yeah, and I forgot that was from E.T. I'm like, what is this from? When you sent that picture,
I didn't know if you were serious because you said I can't put my finger on it. I was like, sir, did you make a pun?
I unintentionally did. My chaos magic just.
That's why I messaged you back. I was like, Spider-Man phone home. But
yeah, I loved it. Again, Elizabeth Olsen is very good at these deeply emotional scenes. Like, I put
up my reaction today, and I wrote in my description, like, because I always like put like a line of like how I'm feeling, and I wrote, "Why are we here? Just to suffer?" Because it hurts so much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's so, and yes, she just leaves. She doesn't take the body. You liar! She just leaves.
Which makes a lot of sense when we saw Vision escape the hex, and Hayward was just like, "Cool," like he wasn't really surprised
Cool.
by it. Which we were like, "Why is he not surprised? Is he Mephisto?" But I guess it's because he knew that the body was in his property the whole time. He knew.
But then, how is he tracking him in the hex? What's going on?
Oh,
plot, right? Oop.
Great point.
What, that...
I think
I don't think the show's broken. I think they know.
No. Yeah, I think the show's pretty smart. I have to rewatch exactly to see what Kate Dennings, or whatever her name is, Kat Dennings' character says about it. Because she says specifically like he's tracking some kind of signature.
It could be that like Vision is like the most significant use of her energy or something.
Yeah.
Or radio waves or whatever kind of waves it is.
It could be some leftover essence of the Mind Stone, given that like of everything Wanda was creating, everything was red except Vision. It was yellow. Maybe that's the theory, but yeah, okay. Anyway, but in the continuation of the plot, when she just gets in her Prius, you said
it was so weird, right? I'm like, she wasn't fly, but she's just like, hey,
okay. I heard someone else say that. Look, flying takes a lot of effort, frankly.
You're right.
Also, she's not like purely flying. She's like lifting off the ground like Magneto.
Right, like pushing out.
Yeah, she can hover.
She has to like push off stuff. That's a lot more.
It was just so. I just love seeing these big heroes fighting Thanos, but just get into a car and just drive.
Yeah. And just looks at this piece of paper, and we're like, okay, what is this piece of paper? Like, what does this mean?
Remember the first Avengers when Bruce Banner comes to everybody on like a moped, and then
Love it.
yeah.
Did you guys think when she got into the car that somebody was gonna be behind her? Like
no,
I always watch these thrillers. I'm like in what's the name? Split. Like when they get into the car and he's like,
God.
I'm like, is that the just gonna come up behind her and be like, "Hey, Wanda,
Mephisto."
Now I want to edit it together. Oh my god, like Charles? No.
There's too many levels to that now.
There's too many levels to that joke. But no, but yeah, what I was mainly thinking about was just the letter. I was like, because my brain is like, what is it? What could it be? And just settle down. But we drive into Westview and we just see everybody living way more mundane. Frankly, Wanda improved Westview, I think. But did you see how
it reminded me of when Paul Rudd was in that one town when he finally got out of the storage place and then
that one town, San Francisco.
Sure, San Francisco. Sorry, but like everything just looked worn out because nobody had you know, there was no human interaction with it, or at least half human interaction with it, and so it just looked like it hadn't been maintained. And then of course we get into Westview and it looks like people are just like going about their normal lives, because then I remember the timeline. I'm like, okay, things are starting to pick back up, because even in the S.W.O.R.D facility we see on the news of like blah blah blah, you know, everyone's returned, people, you know, celebrating, yada yada yada, and so then I remember the timeline and I'm like, okay, this look makes sense for why this town would look like this. And then you start to see the familiar faces. You start to see the familiar faces and you're like,
remember the apocalypse, Nathan?
What's the guy? Male guy is not Mephisto. Thank goodness. He's just a normal dude.
He's a pizza delivery guy.
Yeah. So I guess I upgraded or downgraded in something opinion.
There's theories going around.
Who gets paid more, mailmen or pizza?
I don't know. The USPS is not very well funded. Our government doesn't really like it.
Got a good point. Yeah.
You know, there's theories going. There's theories going around right now that Dottie's character, it might be like a witchcraft person. I mean, well, you didn't see her in this one.
No, you're right. Yeah.
So but I don't know. I didn't really read full into it. I'm not putting anything into it. But
we didn't see Norm either. This one, right?
No, but we know that man is suffering. Like we know.
Yeah.
We woke him up before. Anyway, we're driving through Westview, and I'm just trying to figure out. I'm like, okay, what prompts Wanda to come here? And then I was like, ready for her to just pull up to like the house, and I was like, all right, cool. But then there is no house, and I'm like, oh. And then she opens it up, and you just see.
To grow old. No.
To grow old. And then you also realize maybe this turned into the calendar from the first episode, and they were like, "What's the heart mean?" And now
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
No. Nathan with the mic
that
drop here.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Oh God, it hurts.
God damn it, Nathan! Why'd you get off the podcast, dude? Get off.
It's mine. I already crashed once.
Oh wow! I didn't think about that.
Oh,
that hurts.
Everything hurts, and I'm dying.
I love this show.
This show is wild, dude.
Oh man, she just breaks at that point, and who wouldn't? And then just she has a full Age of Ultron moment, like we saw in like her first appearance, but then it just gets amplified. It's like she constructs the house, and then it bursts out of the house, and everything's going black and white, and it just goes and goes, and then we get that shot that we got from the like previous Super Bowl, not this year's. My God,
that's wild,
right? How has it been this long? And you know, we start developing Vision out of nothingness. There's no like body taken. Like it's that also reconfirmed that Wanda's just seeing her in trauma when she saw the dead bodies. But yeah, that just makes him, and then you know, it cuts away, and then she steps into frame changed, and he's just like, Wanda, welcome home. And then they sit down and watch TV, because that was the best scene in this episode, the Civil War era, and that's why she always wants to watch TV at the end of the episode.
I just realized that now. Ow. Okay.
But looking at it, like she created Vision through like the yellow energy from the Mind Stone. Did she create an Infinity Stone? Is that what she did?
I don't know. What I do know
this Vision has the ability to get people out of the hex. I guess that's because Wanda created him and he's part of the hex.
But also, like, he's a step ahead. Like, in a way, it's like, I feel like he would not be, like, a step ahead as, I mean, it's Vision, but, like, you know, like, he has, like, I guess that she's just not having a grasp on it as more trauma happens in the show, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's always had, like, this Vision, too, has had, like, independent thoughts and is doing stuff and is going against the simulation and whatever, and it's just interesting to see. It's like, and then I start to think back to when he gets, like, pulled back into the hex. Is it because he's just so tethered to that remnants of whatever she created? Maybe it's like, you know, if the hex spread completely, he would survive. I think about that. So then I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? And it's like, but then also we're going to get into this other Vision thing of, like, that's the physical thing. That's the real deal. Like, scary.
Oh, man.
Man.
This scene broke me. This was the cry scene. This was indeed the cry scene where she breaks down. Elizabeth Olsen is really good at just getting down on her knees and just, like, breaking down. I mean, that scene is so powerful.
It's the signature Wanda Maximoff look of just crumbling into
it really
darkness.
Is. Yeah.
And I will also address that while like every reality altering thing bursts out of, like, everywhere from her, that solely when Vision was created, it came out of her heart. I noticed.
It's hard.
I'll get as sappy as I want to. This is a romance. I love it. But, yeah, man. And then
it's tragic romance.
And then we cut to the stage lights and who's in the audience. It's evil. Evil's in the audience.
Yeah, she just starts clapping. I'm like, good grief.
God, just let me live. And then,
such a good foil.
It's so good. I can't even fully remember, like, what was the transition from there.
And it's, like, so meta too, because it's like they shot the scenes on that stage, which now, okay, you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
yeah,
it is canon.
I think she hears the kids. She hears the kids and she runs out of the stage.
Yeah, and then
she goes outside.
Turn the corner and they're just like, the children are being choked by Agatha in full Agatha Harkness
witch attire.
Yeah,
this is where she says, like, where are they? Like, where are my children? Agatha says, like, were my children, in response to her.
Oh,
did you guys hear that?
Oh, yeah. She said that earlier, because she was making fun of her accent.
Yeah, or I couldn't tell. Like, is she implying that these children, like, because I'm with you guys in terms of, like, even if the hex is removed, the kids might stay, but now I'm kind of unsure now. I'm kind of going back and forth on this, with the kids being more of a focus leading into the finale. I don't know anymore. I don't know.
Like, or maybe the events of next episode will, because of Wanda's love for them, it will persist into them actually existing full
But then
time.
for Vision, it won't. Like, what's
I don't know. I don't know.
I think it can be. I think it can be that they exist because, like, they were addressing that Wanda, like, literally physically gave birth to them, and I think it, like, literally comes out of a part of her being, whereas, like, Vision was was created from nothing, whereas everything else was altered from an existing thing.
Right, it's an extension of herself in a way. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
fascinating.
Let's see it from that angle.
Okay.
But then, Agatha really wants Wanda's power because she's just using chaos magic. Also, real quick, there was a very depressing thing earlier when she came into S.W.O.R.D, like, looking for Vision, how there were so many display screens of families reuniting.
Yeah, I was seeing that's on the news. It's like,
Anyway, this family reunion isn't as fun.
No.
Not really. Nope.
I wasn't trying to do that, but she's called chaos magic, and that makes her a Scarlet Witch. And I was like, hell yeah. Finally. They even, like, set it up earlier in the season. It's like, does she have any, like, catchy name? Like, no.
Some kind of witch, right, or something. Yeah.
And it's so funny because I've also heard people, like, theorize that, like, at the time of, like, the Fox deal, that they couldn't use, like, terms like Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. But I know damn well I watched a TV spot that displayed the names Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch in text, so don't tell me. But whatever, that's beside the point. I'm just memorizing stuff. But yeah, the episode then cuts off there, and I'm just like, how again did we go this fast?
Yeah, this was like what 40 minutes long.
Yeah, not 47.
38 minutes with I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, I'll only knock off 5 instead of 7 minutes because we get end credit scenes.
That yeah, true.
Exactly.
Which to the end credit scene, I guess it makes a lot more sense, like to guess what's coming up when you hear Hayward say that like we like took this part back together so many times. But yeah, either way, they were my thought like while watching it. I didn't even notice that like what they were saying is like they needed a little bit of like Wanda, and it still had her energy radiating off of the drone. So I guess that was able to kickstart this new vision. But also, like I saw like the display screen of a humanoid, and as soon as they were panning over, I got like a glimpse of the feet, and my first thought was like, Ultron bot? I don't know, what is this? But then they start panning up, and it's the same detail as Vision. I was like, no, they're doing it.
Pain.
Oh my god,
Carsey called it.
yeah.
Nice.
I don't
Yeah,
want
you
to.
did.
I don't
Yeah.
want to call out Josh, but it was hilarious how like in the chat immediately in the spoiler chat, he was like, "Is that Silver Surfer?" I was like,
Oh no.
I was like, Josh, and then I sent him the comic of White Vision. He's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
That's too funny.
but I was laughing so hard. I'm sorry, Josh.
So in the comics, White Vision, I believe the panel that you're sending is like when, like, Wanda doesn't even like recognize him, and he really just is just like a bare bones resemblance of Vision's function, and so it's gonna be interesting to see that interaction next week, and the Visions interacting.
We can bring him back. This is my theory where we're going. I think we can reboot Vision, because also I remember like last week when we had the Agatha Harkness reveal, and I was like looking over the panel, like her interested in your children. Both Wanda and Vision are in that panel, and it's the pure White Vision in that panel. So this is not unheard of. This is how we come back. This is how we win.
This is how we win.
I want to be optimistic. I want to be like, okay, maybe there's like, imagine if she like merges them somehow or something crazy, or like.
If we take back what Bruce was saying in Infinity War, we remove the stone, there's still a whole lot of Vision left, perhaps the best parts.
That was my immediate prediction. As soon as I saw the new Vision body, I'm like, okay, cool. So Wanda has the essence and Hayward has the physical body. Mix the essence and the body together and you have Vision. Hopefully, you never know.
And I'm curious like what's running in like the program in this Vision body now.
Right. Like, does it have the memories? Like, is it just like a new?
If it's going off the comic books, he would have no memories, right? He'll be cold, emotionless, have nothing.
It's so funny, Carson. Like, in terms of like humor, remember the killer robot from the third Bill and Ted?
Yeah.
That was the vibe I was getting. Not for like comedy wise. I was just like the look was like funny to me.
It's hilarious, actually.
But Evan, watch this trilogy, man.
Please,
I'm good.
Oh, you're not.
The most optimistic, wholesome trilogy.
You're gonna need it after episode 9 of this show.
For real, lift your spirits.
Wow.
Laugh along with Keanu Reeves.
But yeah, so we have two options here with Vision, right? Like Carson said earlier in the episode here, we could have a goodbye scene where Wanda accepts, like, you know, the whole trauma, what is it called? The stages of grief, yeah. Where we have acceptance, and she kind of like destroys the Vision body and gives Vision his proper burial, which he always wanted, which could definitely happen. Or, like we're saying, she can mix like the current Vision right now, the essence of Vision, with this new physical body, and we get the good parts of Vision back.
We're going to have we're gonna have a Monsters Inc. scenario where like we'll have to say goodbye to Vision, like for real, and then like at the end, like we'll get like a little wake up of that actual Vision body and just be like Wanda.
Oh, dude, that'd be good.
I'll cry, but that would be a happy ending, and we have to go.
It would have this has to be conclusive somehow.
Yeah, my theory is
no wait. Like, we can end that way though, and then have an end credit scene.
My theory, like what I was saying last week, I kind of like it that if Vision is restored, I think I want him to be the continuation of a sense of the Vision that we've had in this series with the old body, in a way that, like, you know, it allows Wanda to, like, not dwell on the past. It's like she can accept moving forward with this Vision. You know what I mean? And, like, you know, like an opening a new chapter for their life, kind of.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just interesting. It's like there's just a couple options the way they could go out, and
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think what's the best.
People keep using the whole scenario saying, well, it has to tie into Doctor Strange too, which is true, but at the same time, this show has to have a conclusive finale at the same time.
Yeah.
So I don't see Vision having a big thing in Doctor Strange 2. I could be completely wrong. But
crazy.
I just don't see Vision having a big role at all, or any role in Doctor Strange 2. So, but then also Doctor Strange 2 has to continue Wanda's growing powers and Wanda's possible trauma. So,
well, also you say
know.
that where would Vision be? It's like, you bet your ass that she's gonna be pretty mad that Vision's body is turned back on, like, from S.W.O.R.D. Like, if I'm her, like,
I'm hiding him off.
Yeah, like, I'm hiding him, like, in a cabin in the woods. Vision's going to chop logs and go fishing. So, like,
but it's just so fascinating. I love this show. Has maybe appreciate the character of Vision 1,000 times more than the movies have. I've always liked Vision. I thought he was a great character, but this show would really made me appreciate his human side, like the humanity of Vision. So I really want the best for him, even though at this point, I'm thinking like 60-40, 60% being Wanda is going to get that burial for Vision, and he's not going to be back in his original body.
I would love that if she's holding hands with her kids and we get to move on, because
like a Logan scenario, right?
Because she gets to keep her kids, and that's good enough, and she's going to progress towards the future.
Yes, I think the kids are. I'm like 90% sure the kids are going to make it out.
Yes,
Young Avengers.
It has to be. Come on.
God, I would love to see like a parallel to like a comic moment where like it was a big moment of like how much humanity truly is like in Vision. And then like in the comic it was like that like even an android can cry. And I don't think we've seen Vision like shed any tears, but if he were to shed a tear, I would die.
Oh, and he could he could, because it'd be the version of Wanda, like that version of him crying. Oh God. Nathan.
I know. No. Don't hire me, Marvel.
Gosh.
But
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here's now that we kind of gone through all the pain. Do you think there is still a big cameo? Does it detract from the emotional climax of next episode? Is it Doctor Strange? Is it like
the whole Skywalker bullshit? Yeah.
Wow. All right. Okay, I'll say a couple things. First off, I think we'll still get Doctor Strange, but that will be its own entity. Mm-hmm. And second, I think you can have at least the big cameo that I'm wanting and still have it be an emotional moment, because I still want it to be. At this point, it's very like iffy if that even happens. But I would be down for it to be Charles Xavier helping a coping sense for Wanda, but also you can build that on your own with the characters you have currently, with Vision himself and everybody, and fighting off. So it's really like something we'll just have to see. I don't know if that's like the big cameo is now going to be whatever the engineer is. If they're still doing that, I don't know. There's a lot up in the air, because then if they're doing that, that would be like 3 big reveals of like the engineer, the cameo, the Strange.
Yeah. Doctor Strange, I don't really mind. I'm fully supportive of the Doctor Strange cameo if it happens. The scientist, I can give a rat's ass. I don't care about the scientist at all. Engineer. Oh God. But in terms of the whole Paul Bettany's hyping up this big character that he loves working with, I have no clue.
It's himself as the white.
I would love it. Yeah, I would love if he would just lie and saying, "Oh yeah, I just meant Benedict Cumberbatch." I don't know. It's interesting, right? That he was talking about a scene with him, so it'll be a scene with Vision. It wouldn't necessarily be a Wanda and somebody else scene. I have no clue. I can't even begin to guess.
Unless it's something to do.
It's exciting that we don't know.
Yeah, and it gives me to think like there's so many possibilities with like
Mm-hmm.
the stone and like especially now this instance of like, oh, we just need some of the original power source, and then like thinking about like if Wanda can like generate some of the like just like all those possibilities of like, man, I don't know what's gonna happen. And then we still have got Darcy and Monica
I was just about to ask.
everybody. We got that we got to wrap up that.
Darcy's still driving. Vision's still flying back home. Monica is
Yep.
still kidnapped by Pietro, fake Pietro.
Yeah.
So last predictions, like, are we going to get Monica a superhero name, Spectrum or Photon, next week? Seems very likely, right?
I don't know if we'll get like the specific name.
Oh, maybe they'll save that for Captain Marvel too.
Yeah.
Probably.
I think we'll just see her use her like we'll get that POV shot again of her like using that spectrum vision.
Got it. Yeah, I'm very curious to see where she goes by the end of this. Like Nathan said, I would love if she was the new head of S.W.O.R.D. That would be really awesome. They could
So, oh man, so is the hex gonna just dissipate? Do you think it's just gonna? Do you think the fighting that's gonna happen was just gonna make it expand again, just completely explode? Is that what you guys think, or do you think it like implodes, or like how is this gonna go?
I feel like most of our focus is suddenly like being placed on White Vision when we have to remember that like Agatha is still at large.
Right.
Yeah. So this is interesting. Do we think at this point, yes or no? Is there somebody Agatha's working for, or is there another villain? I don't think so. I think they're just
is the big level cameo the greater villain? I don't.
Oh.
I
don't know.
See, and part of me saying that distraction part of like Agatha
It's
is
Alfred
so
Molina's
large. Oh my god! But I keep seeing this shot on wherever of like everybody like standing in the cul-de-sac. I think that's the only trailer shot that we haven't
I've
seen.
never seen that shot.
And so I think
once like a month ago.
I think the connection is going to break when Wanda at the peak of this whatever's happening, and I think it's just going to be crazy and going to overload Wanda in a way.
Can you imagine?
Everyone's going to be yelling at her, I think.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say maybe be on her side to help. I'm
Can you? The mailman just starts going after Agatha.
Just because I was like, if I like also apply it to the mindset of like even before like the hex was created, like this was going to be Wanda and Vision's home, and if she's like, this is our home, let's fight for it. The help of the town, maybe pretending to still be under, but not really. I don't know.
Man,
I need like hour and 20-minute finale.
I know. I hope it's at least 45 minutes. It's got to be
without credits.
Yeah,
but
without credits.
We've all theorized as soon as this show was created that this show was going to end with a House of M scenario or a reverse House of M scenario.
Yeah,
more mutants.
Yeah, like more mutants. How do we think that's going to happen? Because we saw her breakdown in, I guess, via flashbacks. So, in chronological sense of it all, she broke down towards the beginning of the series. Now, by the end of it, she's coming more into her own. She's starting to understand her powers, especially that we saw this week. Is she just going to have just another breakdown? Would that be counteractive to her arc? I'm not sure.
I wonder. Okay. So first off, I still think the hex is going to pop, and I think we'll get mutations that way. What I could see the scenario of leading to that is maybe it'll be some sort of ultimatum where like maybe Agatha wants that to happen and Wanda shouldn't, but like maybe it'll be like a scenario to save her kids or something that she has to like push herself like so strongly that like that's the cause, and then that will like help the effects of like whoever the villain is for Doctor Strange 2, and that would like
what happens to Agatha though? Do we kill Agatha? Do we have to?
Can Agatha be in Doctor Strange 2? What a great reveal that would be.
I think Marvel sets it up as like they only kill villains as long as the villains kill a lot of other people. And at this point, Agatha hasn't really killed anybody. She's just been manipulating Wanda in a sense. So
those poor witches, the poor coven.
Yeah, they deserved it. They were trying to kill her at first.
She's the one doing dark magic.
Hey, maybe you shouldn't outlaw that shit, okay?
She's a Grindelwald.
No, get out of here, Karsten.
I'm sorry. Were we on the side of Caecilius when This man, like, remember in Doctor Strange when he's like, "Come on, look at your face."
He's different. He cut the guy's head off in the beginning of the movie.
He cut off the librarian.
Yeah,
That's
poor guy. True. As a fellow librarian, I know that hurts.
I was gonna say, I know that hurts. I hate when my head falls in the cold.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Thursdays, man.
But I think Agatha's gonna stick around. She's the kind of person that says like, "My plan is foil, toodles," and then just turns into purple smoke. I don't know. Turns into purple smoke and disappears.
It's gonna be a gas.
I just love Catherine Hahn. Don't kill her off. Granted, I love Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael B. Jordan, and look what happened to them.
Jake's coming back. Jake's coming back.
Jake's never coming back.
Wait, who?
Jake. He's not coming
Mysterio.
back.
He's saying Mysterio.
Oh, Jake. Oh, absolutely, he's coming back.
You guys are crazy. Mysterio's coming back, but Jake is gone. He's gone.
What? Where is he?
He has excelled beyond Marvel. He's doing Michael Bay movies now.
Okay. They almost killed their dolly grip, so that's fine.
Oh my god.
Michael Bay wrote on Instagram that the guy is fine. Come on.
That didn't look controlled at all.
Hey,
physics. We calculated it.
Trust the process. But yeah, I just don't see Jake coming back. I think Mephisto as a being could come back, but Mysterio. Jake, nah, he's gone.
Jake Mephisto Gyllenhaal.
Oh, jeez.
You know what? I would love to, but actually though, I would love to see like the story told of like the Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions game where like Mysterio actually like delved into real magic.
Love that game. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Because
also, yeah, it's interesting like setting up this magic in the MCU like this. It's not like simple sorcery. Like this is different like levels of like we could open hell. Like this is like demonic shit you can get into. I would be intrigued to see that.
I'm so excited because Doctor Strange 2 has been one of my most anticipated Marvel movies ever since they announced it, especially with Wanda coming in there. So I'm very curious to see how her arc ends here, but also continues to be very compelling in Doctor Strange 2.
We got some weird stuff coming up.
Also
we got Eternals, Doctor Strange, all this stuff. This will be so cool.
Do you guys remember how Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness was pitched to be a horror? And even though Scott left, like you still have Sam Raimi. That man mostly does horror.
Yeah, right.
So I'm intrigued to see what will bleed over from WandaVision. Again, I would love to see Catherine Hahn. What a reveal if like Catherine was the villain of Doctor Strange 2, like on her own. Because I feel like we keep thinking like, oh, she's servicing someone. Could service herself.
I would love that. I
love that in the sense of this season right now. I don't need like a higher up.
Me neither. I think the song in general, Agatha All Along, kind of surmises that she is the main antagonist.
But the fly.
That fly was turned into a bird and fed to a rabbit.
When she held the fly, I was like, "Oh no, are they really gonna do it?" But then she just.
I was so scared. I was like,
"Cillian Murphy, Cillian Murphy, Cillian Murphy."
I was like, "She's gonna whisper to her master." Like,
no. Yeah, I'm like, "Oh no, they're gonna do it, aren't they?" People still think like her husband Ralph is gonna be the big reveal next week, but you never know. That's possible.
I'm so curious if they actually pull Ralph. Ralph is like a big like superhero like. It's under a different name right now.
Before we end our WandaVision discussion, real quick, I know this is kind of preemptive because WandaVision is the only MCU show that we've seen so far this year. Do you guys think with Mandalorian season 1 and season 2 getting a lot of Emmy awards, just in terms of like best drama, and then they have a lot of the stunts and stuff nominated? Do you think WandaVision has the most potential out of all these upcoming MCU shows to be the one to garner the most Emmy possible nominations? Maybe not wins, but nominations.
Because didn't Mandalorian get nominated for best drama?
Exactly.
Yep.
So I'm like,
I love it, but like,
yeah. I think mostly Mandalorian has like best drama, best sound, best art, cinematography, that
best
kind of
music.
stuff. Which makes sense. Like the technical side of Mandalorian is incredible.
Yeah.
But best drama, I don't know. Like, is WandaVision has the most potential for best drama? Do you guys think?
I definitely say.
How many times did I pause to cry for this episode alone?
Exactly, right? Like this is the one that you would submit to Emmy voters.
I think Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to be emotional, but also more action packed than WandaVision. I think Loki is going to be more of a kind of clever heist, kind of like action, swaggling, adventure kind of.
Guardians kind of
Yeah,
thing.
like
Yeah. But
So-
Hawkeye though has my most attention. That's like my second most anticipated one, mainly because I'm a
Yeah.
Haley Steinfeld fan,
and like passing the torch. I love
Yeah.
that kind of arc of like
mm-hmm.
that stuff. So who
It
knows?
seems
That could be
very
super
character
emotional.
focused, and Miss Marvel as well too. Like Miss Marvel and Hawkeye have like those big character focused kind of ideas to them. Yeah,
And who knows? We don't know what what's the other two? Not She-Hulk.
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight. We got an A-list cast for Moon Knight. Like
Ethan Hawke, right?
they come out and give a the Emmy-winning performance. It might pull some noms. So
and that's next year though too.
yeah, that's next year. So
man,
Yeah,
this slate, man.
Yeah, I think WandaVision, especially for like just like technically speaking, I think could definitely pull some stuff. It's great. I love the music, but yeah, man, I would if they're nominating like best like. Did they nominate any like best actor or actresses for Mandalorian?
no,
Actually,
well,
I think Giancarlo for best supporting or best like usually the best supporting.
Okay.
It's either best supporting or best like guest actor.
Then you can definitely give Elizabeth Olsen a nomination, especially with like how like emotional I see this woman act every episode is so well done.
Yeah, and her pivoting from each genre, her characters changing in a sense.
I also think the directing has been really impressive in that sense of like it's been the same guy every episode too who's directed all these. I'm like people forget. I don't even know his name. It's like Matt something.
Smith.
Matt Shaman. I can't remember.
Please stand by, Matt. Please stand by.
Joby Harold.
Joby Harold. Very, but yeah,
he's Joby Gerald.
Joby Gerald. Oh man, that was funny. After seeing the Army of the Dead trailer, that I took a screenshot of Joby as Coast. I know. I didn't either.
That, yeah.
You traded Terrio for
for Joby.
Wow.
Anyways,
yeah, this was a good episode. Loved it. Can't wait for the finale.
I think it might have been in my top 3 episodes of the show. Actually,
me too. I think I posted it right after saying it was this episode, the Halloween episode. Was the Halloween? Which one ended the one where they had an argument? Was that the Halloween episode? No.
That was the one right before the Halloween episode. That was
it was before the Halloween.
That was that was just the 80s kids growing up one.
Okay, I liked
the
that
Death
one
of Sparky episode.
Yeah, and I just love the Malcolm in the Middle one because I'm a huge Malcolm in the Middle fan. Yeah. That was probably the funniest episode.
As soon as I saw like Malcolm in the Middle in like the briefcase in Sokovia, I was like, wow,
yes,
like it's canon.
Yes, no, maybe.
I can't believe the dad is like selling like VHS tapes. I'm like, oh man, the hustle,
incredible, the hustle.
Because he's literally like, and he's like, don't worry, honey, I'll sell them all tomorrow. Like, because he didn't sell any because it's like literally war outside. Nobody's buying.
Literally war, yeah.
VHS, like, brutal.
Do you think they actually trick or treated like that Malcolm in the Middle cutaway, Evan?
Probably.
Also, I want to go back if that's the same actress that they used for young Wanda.
Oh wow!
I don't know if it was.
Be pretty great.
In the hindsight, it might be. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
All right, but are you guys ready for the big secret cameo to be one Mr. Tom Holland? Because Feige said it will tie in as well. Anyway, we have a title. We have a
ton of Marvel news.
Thank
Tons of Marvel news.
We're an hour and a half in.
Yeah, let's.
I know this.
We'll go quick-ish.
We'll go through all these. Yeah.
We finally got a lot of. First off, that was hilarious how we got a lot of teases, and because the first titles were Tom posted Phone Home, and then Jacob posted Home Wrecker, and immediately, and they tricked me for a second. I was like, "Is it a 2-parter?"
Yeah, and I'm glad I wasn't in chat or on the timeline when this was happening. Like I was at some event thing for work, and I came back and I had like 200 missed messages, and it's like mostly Nathan being like, "Wait, no, but no, because this could be," and like Nathan's like making like comparisons between all three.
I was like, why
trying
did the movie page comment?
Oh,
yeah, and he's got all the screenshots. I'm like, oh, this is
I'm
hilarious.
literally walking from work, just shaking my head the entire time. I'm like, this can't be real. Homewrecker is an awful title. I'm like,
Yeah.
this can't be real.
And then Trey's like, I'm turning on Jimmy Fallon, even though he's not funny at all. I gotta watch this because Tom Holland's on there.
I watched the whole live stream of Jimmy Fallon.
You guys are nuts.
To my surprise. No, it's funny because it feels like they're gonna reveal it because then they start playing a game that's designed around spoilers, and you have to like guess the movie title based on the spoiler. And I was like,
"Are you serious?"
Perfect. Yes.
Wow.
And it's like too perfect, and I'm like, it's coming, and then it didn't. And it was just like, watch Cherry.
Yeah, and then this next day, just randomly, 11 a.m., we get this video.
No, but before that, also Zendaya got in on the fun.
Oh yeah,
she posted
that's
Home
right.
Slice.
Slice.
Each of which, by the way, each of them when they posted had their own like new still of like the same room, same area, but
people went nuts.
People
it was
standing
it was
in the
Ned's
room.
it was Ned's shadow because the light, like I'm just looking at the light source, and it was Ned's shadow.
Hey,
on,
No,
and they're like,
Carson,
it's
the
Doctor
hairline was-
Strange.
the hairline was different than Jacob's.
Carson, you're so lucky you were involved. No, I'm just sitting here like I don't want to ruin their fun, but it's a title.
I'm like, guys,
First
this
of
is
all,
how lighting works. Like,
yeah. It's a title. It's lighting. People are just standing in a room. I'm like, okay, cool.
the poor
last
still.
time I was in the presence of people just standing in the room and we're talking about a title was a Star Wars trailer, and we all
Oh
lost.
wow,
our
here we
mind.
go.
Hey,
Here we
now.
go.
I have
Here we
you all
go.
in 4K.
Here we go. That's different.
That's different.
The atmosphere. I had to live it up.
Oh, you had to go to the Spider-Man convention to get the full effect.
Yeah,
I mean,
gotta be at Hall H.
You said it yourself, Nathan. Come on.
I was supposed to be a Hall H man.
But yeah, I'm not one to freak out about titles until it's actually revealed. That being said, No Way Home is a fantastic title. It's like probably the best title next to Homecoming. Granted, maybe after I see the movie, I might like it more so in terms of how it relates to the actual theme of the movie. But I liked it. And I mean, the three of them could be in the Sanctum. It kind of looks like it. I don't want to go crazy with theories. It's just Doctor Strange is in the movie. Mm-hmm. They might be in the Sanctum. Makes a lot of sense. Granted, that could be anything, but I wouldn't be shocked if they were in the Sanctum in that scene.
I think they are for sure. What do we think the title means?
Lots of things. The reveal that
lots of
on the
because
surface.
he can't like just go home because now he's revealed like that.
Yeah.
Can he not
level.
though? I mean, we see set photos of him just getting ice cream or whatever with Zendaya.
Ending.
This man is framed for murder.
I mean, well, didn't Tom say like I forget where I was reading it, but Tom or somebody said like throughout the movie, half the world is going to be like, "Oh, this is bullshit." The other half is going to be like, "Oh, this might actually be true."
Oh, did he?
Well, yeah, set photo actually has like different.
Somebody
like,
said that.
There's different flyers from like the set photo of like some people for or against Spider-Man.
Yeah, so I think the movie's going to juxtapose that like even like somebody could easily say even in modern day like, "Hey, somebody could easily just fix that photo," so people won't believe him. But at the same time,
that's interesting.
People could take it seriously as well, which is why he still has to go to court and stuff, probably. So,
It reminds me of like the villain in like the Miles Morales game where the dude is getting arrested and he's just like, they're deep fakes.
Yeah. So it's interesting. No Way Home, just he's on the run. So
it'd be hilarious if like Peter gets like suspended because it's like it just causes too much commotion at school, and then whatever the plot with the multiverse stuff comes in, like he starts like investigating that or walks into that or whatever happens with that, and then that could start off the adventure.
Someone was theorizing like maybe he gets stuck out of his own dimension, and that's the No Way Home part.
Yeah, well, that of course that's what I thought of too. Of like, that could be like the underlying thing, like because there's this whole deal ripping open, and
you think he's going through different dimensions too?
Possibly.
We have a
multiverse
thought about that. It's interesting how we're gonna like probably see Strange at the end of WandaVision, but then we have to go through Spider-Man first before we hit Strange. So
it's so weird. Yeah,
I think it's interesting for him to be in different dimensions if if they really double down on this identity thing of like him not being able to exist like peacefully and without just he can't even have a normal day, even though Spider-Man never has a normal day. You know what I mean? Like that he would like kind of escape a little bit to a different dimension accidentally, and then he could like live because nobody would be like, oh, it hasn't been revealed in this dimension. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah,
it'll be an interesting timeline because WandaVision is 3 weeks before Far From Home, and then we go through the events of Far From Home, and then now No Way Home is supposed to start immediately after that. So,
does it actually start right after?
Well, it should because we cliffhanger.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I haven't rewatched.
See, I don't know anymore, right? I think in terms of like
the world's just like, is Peter Spider-Man?
I think the world's going to be confused. It's not going to be like automatically like, oh, Tom is just on the run or Peter's on the run like the whole time. I have a weird feeling, like as much as I want it to be like, oh no, Tom is on the run. What's going to happen? I feel like the movie's going to underplay it a little bit.
Well, not to be a high top, but I will say like there is like such an importance to like this whole identity reveal thing that you can't just throw it away because like I
agree.
He's not a big level Avenger. He's just a kid with not a lot. I mean, he has resources.
And I think, but he's saying like at first, like the immediacy of like, it's not going to be like John Wick 3 where it's like shoot out in the library 3 seconds later.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's going to do that.
If anything, I think it would be more like paparazzi type crowding.
I think they're going to play it for jokes and stuff. It's going to be, but
don't say that.
I don't know. But I think in terms of what Carson was saying earlier about what's going to happen at school, I think the primary reason it's set during Christmas is that they don't have to juggle the whole school thing. They can just say everything takes place during winter break. So all the chaos.
Yeah.
So like since they're going to be on winter break, I think they're not going to have the whole like, hey, Peter, in 6th period, like your whole chemistry class is like looking after you or something because you're Spider-Man. So I think instead of just juggling all the kids and them asking him questions, it's just going to be like, it's winter break. People don't know if what they saw a couple months ago was real or fake. Peter's still on the run. I don't know. But since there is going to be some kind of a time gap between Far From Home and this movie,
I hope we get some dramatic tension between Aunt May and Peter in this movie because that is such a good angle.
Yeah,
and like,
I hope so too.
We need those scenes. I need that.
I thought you were gonna say. I hope we get dramatic tension and then stop. Like,
no,
yeah.
But yeah, I really hope this. Like, it's not even that these movies haven't taken themselves like seriously. I mean, it's Spider-Man. Like, obviously, there's gonna be the fun. Like, but also, I just want a little more, just to wrap this, just a little more around the edges, just
right. Yeah, it's so hard to pinpoint my criticism of these last two movies because I really like Homecoming, but I think Far From Home just didn't get as deep, serious, or emotional as I think it could have been. Granted, I know it's an MCU movie, I know it's a Spider-Man movie, which is a lot of fun, but it didn't get to the deep parts that I think other Spider-Man movies got to. It just seemed a bit too goofy with the whole like Jake Gyllenhaal, like, oh, I'm a fired ex-employee. I was a guy behind the curtain. And, like
barf,
barf. Like it just got too goofy at a time. And, like I couldn't really take it seriously. Like I did like
my highlight was the romance. For sure.
Yeah,
1,000%. I think I am a sucker for romance.
And now that's there, it's gonna be great.
Yes.
To explore
she
and
still
like
has the necklace in the new photos.
Right, and like he's gonna have to be like worrying about her. Like imagine if they get split up in dimensions. Like imagine that. Like like it's gonna be a whole deal.
Yeah.
Wow.
In other Spider-Man news though, Tom was talking about his contract ending. Far From Home is going. No Way Home. No Way Home in that mystery Spider-Man movie that we don't know about. Remember, because he has No Way Home in that mystery Marvel appearance.
That would be a crossover contract,
crossover thing. Yeah. But yeah, he says after that. He said after that my contract is up, so he doesn't really know what's up. He says he can't wait for a break because he's been doing these movies every single year,
every other year.
Yeah. He really hasn't had a break, so he said he's excited to have a break in that. He hopes that he can play Spider-Man for the next or as long as Sony wants him to.
And he will.
And he will, right? Yeah.
He's even said like previously, like when he got his first contract, they just kind of like showed up, and he wasn't like entirely sure how it's gonna go. So he may just get like another new contract, and he may already be signed up all the way to Spider-Man 10. He doesn't know.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
And things change so fast. Like, you know, it's best if both parties just say, okay, we're just gonna put a blank slate of. We don't know what it's going to be because we don't even know the relationship between our studios, but we're just going to put it in ink somehow very broadly that you'll be with us.
Tom did also like reconfirm that he doesn't think there'll be a problem like that again.
Exactly.
Moving forward.
And I think also Tom's contract is going to be big. It's going to be huge.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is the Wonder Woman effect, right? Wonder Woman and Gal Gadot didn't get paid that much, didn't get paid a lot for her first movie role, but then she got a huge pay increase for Wonder Woman 1984. So
yeah, not to mention a huge HBO Max payout because they had to buy out their like box office residuals because that obviously that wasn't a thing. So
I think Tom's going to get paid, and I think we're going to have Tom for the next 10 years minimum. Like, this guy's going to be Spider-Man for a very long time.
What I see,
college trilogy. I need it. I need the college trilogy.
We definitely do.
I remember they wanted the trilogy of trilogies, and like literally 3 trilogies. Yeah, absolutely. And I could totally see them doing like the college stuff, and then like the third trilogy being like the more like a mentor figure, like fully realized Spider-Man. You can have Miles introduced at that point, and we could have the scenario of Spider-Man being the next Iron Man, not literally, but like in terms of like more of the figurehead
leader in the new which makes me so curious, like where eventually it would like, you know, like I think fast forward, like where are we gonna be in like 8 years? Like what's
Parker Industries, bro? It's coming.
Like what's the next like big Thanos? Like if we're at like, you know,
Doctor Doom, man, I'm telling you, Doctor Doom, he could be the next big Thanos.
Man. Give me the Superior Spider-Man storyline. That'd be fun. My God, that would be an insane ride, though.
Yeah.
So what's the other Marvel news? I'm trying to see if I'm missing anything else.
Is there another?
I don't think so. I think.
It was Loki's coming out June, whatever.
Loki's coming out in June, which makes sense because we have Bad Batch in May, Loki in June, which kind of seems like. In terms of the other MCU shows, What If will probably then be in August.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then Hawkeye and Miss Marvel are going to be October and December, probably.
Yeah.
Big Hero 6.
I forgot about that one.
I loved here. Okay, so at first it was like Marvel's looking to bring the Big Hero 6 into the MCU, and then the following day it was like, just kidding, haha. But then also somebody was pointing out that report that was denouncing that was from somebody who had attempted something previously that was like not really.
Yeah, it seems like so. Disney Insider broke the news, and then a day later, Disney contacted Variety, and Variety broke the news that hey, Disney is not going to do this because a source from Disney told us they might not do this. But the future is open, that kind of thing. So it seems like Disney Insider still could be correct, but Disney's trying to hide it, which makes sense. Even when the news broke on that day, I'm like, I don't see Big Hero 6 becoming a big thing in the near future. If anything, this seems like a 2023 or 2024 thing.
Don't you know, Evan, Wanda's about to make San Francisco.
Oh, man. How could I forget that?
Isn't there another Big Hero 6 animated series coming out on Disney Plus, or am I going crazy? I swear.
Apparently there was already a series, right?
There's already a series as a continuation of the series, but on Disney Plus, there's going to be a Baymax series, which is Baymax cleaning up San Francisco. Not so much an ensemble, not so much like a Big Hero 6, a TV series, but just more of a standalone Baymax doing cool things.
Is that one back in the 3D space?
Yes.
Okay, that's my favorite. Also, everyone is like living it up of like the idea of cute Baymax interacting with Marvel characters. But then I forgot that like, oh wait, Baymax in the comics is actually like a really like beefed up mech.
Right.
But then I was like, I don't want that. I want the Baymax that's adorable.
Nobody wants that now. It's like it's too late, Disney. You put yourself in a corner.
Because somebody edited together of like when Bucky's like in Wakanda, just like getting checked out, but it's Baymax there. He's like, "You've been a good boy. Have a lollipop." He's just smiling. It's so
I would
good.
love that.
I need it.
I totally forgot this was like a comic deal.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm down for anything really, as long as it's just organic and it's not like a kind of a forced crossover. On whatever they have in mind, I'm sure it's gonna be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's get into some of the DC casting.
We have a lot of DC news.
It,
Yeah, let's start out with the female casting from this past week.
Okay, so recently, Sasha Calle, I believe, is now going to be in Andy Muschietti's Flash film as Supergirl.
Wow.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Did we have any inkling that Supergirl was going to be in this movie at all?
No, but also I'm just happy we're finally addressing Supergirl, because like back in like Man of Steel itself, there was that open pod suggesting Supergirl escaped out of it, and we just never addressed her since.
And I guess what better way to do it than Flashpoint or whatever the heck is going on in this movie.
Yeah.
Because remember, this is now going to be a movie with Keaton's Batman, Flash origin story, and Supergirl small role.
And Ben Affleck's Batman
and Ben Affleck,
too.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
man.
It's a lot. And so I'm glad that she's being introduced. Of course, I am, like, I'll just preface that I'm completely bummed that this is probably filling somewhat of the void of Ray Fisher's Cyborg not being a part of the movie. So it's probably just another play to kind of shift towards the future of what they're doing and what, eventual super. Well, I'm happy for the actress. She totally perfect for the role. That Zoom call is so wholesome of like her
so
getting
adorable.
It, and she
Michelle
holds up the costume and then she's like, "Oh my god!" and she like yells at somebody in the background like, "I got it! I got it!"
So cute. And I'm really hoping also this isn't just like her appearing as like an Elseworld Supergirl. I want her to be like the main.
Oh,
I was
100%.
just about to ask you, because we're having all these multiverse stuff with the Flash, and I'm just like, hopefully she's not something that she sees like in Michael Keaton's universe and she just stays there or something. I'm pretty sure she's going to be the DCEU version of Supergirl.
Yeah, because I don't want it to be like a thing where like the studio is like, yeah, you can have a Hispanic Supergirl, but like she's an Elseworld. It's like, no, give me this.
Just have her be from Barry's Earth or whatever, and you just make up some reason for why she wasn't like around.
Yeah.
Or
I can't wait to see how they include her, because it's so surprising to me. Like, I thought this was going to be
like, we understand the Keaton stuff of like how they explain that they're like, okay, there's kind of a pull with or through line with like the mom thing and like a mentor role, and it would make a little bit of sense because he already kind of has interactions with Batman before and yada yada yada. But this, I'm just so unfamiliar with the character in terms of like what her kind of, I guess, state of affairs, the state of the galaxy for her is, like what her character arc is at, and what where she actually is in the galaxy, like what is she up to right now? I don't know.
It's also interesting that's like she's like canonically is like older than Superman.
Yes.
Or
I always forget that.
Is she?
Well, yeah, at least like in the time of like Krypton's destruction, she was like in her teens when Clark was born. When she left Krypton when it was destroyed.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm not that familiar with Supergirl. I got a lot of familiarity with her through like the Justice League TV shows or Young Justice, or wait, she's not even in Young Justice. I don't think so. But like the Justice League TV shows and the CW TV shows, that's kind of where I got my familiarity with her. But yeah, I always loved her. I mean, I can't wait for them to do a possible Supergirl trilogy down the line, possibly. It seems exciting.
It definitely seems, given the other news we're about to discuss, that we're just opening up this new alternate / actually canon / there's just going to be different interpretations all over the place, and that's what comics are. And so I'm glad that it's just not going to, it's going to be a hodgepodge of things rather than, this strict copy Marvel thing where it's like we have to have 10 years of continuity figured out, and I'm glad it's just because like we're literally gonna have Pattinson's, we're gonna have Matt Reeves' Batman trilogy, we're gonna have Keaton appearances, Ben Affleck appearances. I'm just glad that it's just like all just going for it now, like instead of like so calculatedly being like, okay, so this is gonna be here, this is gonna be here. There's like, it's comics, man. Let's just go.
Yep.
Yeah,
Couldn't agree more.
absolutely. So I'm excited to see her. Also excited that Rachel Zegler has been cast in
Yes.
Shazam: Fury of the Gods.
As
I don't think it was disclosed who she's playing.
Yeah,
no clue.
no clue.
I wonder if it'll actually be like one of like the figureheads that Black Adam goes up against in his film. I don't know if there's a connection there. I don't know if she's
Yeah,
going to be a specific superpowered individual, but
because Shazam 2 is called like Fury of the Gods,
Fury of the
right?
Gods. Yeah.
It's
I just
not
said
going to
that.
have. Oh, yeah. I'm saying like I don't think Shazam's going to be in Shazam 2. Is what I'm saying. Or I don't think Black Adam's going to be in Shazam 2.
Let's say.
Shazam's definitely going to be in his own movie. Yes.
Black Adam comes out first, if I'm correct, right?
Yes.
If they shoot,
It got
first,
delayed. I
know.
don't know if it has a new release date, right?
I think 2022, and they're going to shoot later this year.
Mm-hmm.
Because Rock was doing Red Notice, then what was he doing after that?
Yeah, Shazam Fury of the Gods is 2023, June 2nd.
Yes.
And then Black Adam is TBD 2022.
Yeah. And so we'll have Batman. God, it's still so weird that Batman's March for now. I always forget that they got moved.
Yeah, weird. But yeah, Shazam 2 seems to be focusing on like the family aspect of it all and the continuation of those that caterpillar villain. I'm blinking on the name.
Yeah, what's the
shoot.
Doctor
something. Man, I love, if you guys don't follow David S. Sandberg on YouTube, he posts the most like wholesome and informative and like behind the scenes videos of just like basically the filmmaking process and like just like tips and tricks and just like he's just very real. He's like, hey, like filmmaking is hard, guys. Like here's what I do. And it's awesome. And I think he has an amazing like comedic / horror sensibility. So I'd love for him to lean into a little more of his horror roots in this one. Also continuing some of the comedy. I think he's been one of the best pulls for the universe. Honestly, people kind of sleep on Shazam. Like I thought it was phenomenal.
I thought it was really good too. I need to see his other movies like Lights Out. I think he directed that. Lights Out and
one of the Annabelles, which is said to be one of the better ones.
I think Annabelle 2. And the villain's name is Mr. Mind, by the way. That was
got it.
Yeah.
Doctor. My bad. But yeah.
Mega Mind.
Oh man. Sorry.
But yeah. Anyways, we forgot. Good for Rachel. I mean, she's awesome.
Yes.
I follow her on Twitter. Like,
yeah, she's a great follower on Twitter. I haven't seen her in anything.
I know, and it's
crazy, right?
And this West Side Story debut is going to be interesting because of the Ansel allegations.
Jeez, I forgot all about that. Wow.
So we don't really know what that.
I was just watching parts of Baby Driver the other day too.
I know.
I love this movie.
I know.
I miss watching Baby Driver. I can't go back right now.
Can't go back.
No.
So we'll see how. I think time is going to be, unfortunately, for the. It's going to be too friendly to it.
That's the media for you. Yep.
But we'll see, and because of Spielberg, it's still, she deserves her spotlight for it. And
1,000%.
So I'm glad that she's already cast in another major movie.
Mm-hmm.
So her career is just starting out, and that's amazing.
I love it.
DC is also making a Blue Beetle movie, which is super surprising. With the guy who directed, his name is Angel Manuel Soweto. I forget what he directed. I'm about to look it up here real quick. But Blue Beetle is awesome. Like, you haven't gotten to it yet, Carson. But Blue Beetle is like the main character in Young Justice season 2. He is the main character of the story. I mean, it's still about the main crew of Young Justice, of course, but Blue Beetle's the big new recurring character.
Yeah,
exactly.
I still have no idea anything about Blue Beetle. Somehow.
Oh, he's great. I guess it's not even going to be spoilers because it's from the comic books.
Yeah, what's the one sentence pitch on this guy?
But like Blue Beetle is the next follower of the Blue Beetle line because somebody else, Ted Cord, was the original Blue Beetle. But then this whole Blue Beetle slash Scarab comes from outer space, connects with the character Jaime Reyes, and he becomes like a superpowered being. The Blue Beetle kind of like envelops him, gives him strength, flight like a beetle, laser powers. He has a whole blue suit. Incredible character. So I'm very excited to see where this goes. The guy also he directed Charm City Kings,
Oh,
which
I
is
need to
on
get to it. It's on HBO Max now.
exactly, which I never got around to watching it last year, but I heard good things. So this is the first like Hispanic superhero for them. Very excited. Very excited.
Very nice.
First Latino superhero. Sorry.
Yep.
In more like rapid fire news, James Gunn says he's looking to work with Harley again in the future. Margot's Harley on future projects, or Kathy Yan.
Yeah, I had a question because that was a question towards you guys. Do you guys think Harley's next adventure is going to be with James Gunn or Kathy Yan? Because it seems like it might be James Gunn at this point. Because as soon as I saw Birds of Prey, I'm like, I want to see Harley do Gotham City Sirens with these people. But if she wants to do another Suicide Squad, I think James would want to do that with her. So it could be both. I don't know.
It could be like one takes the helm, the other is like a heavy producer.
Yep. And I think of course I love Kathy Yan. I want her to come back, but I truly, based on some of her recent comments, I think she's starting a production company, and she's also going on to do some other TV stuff. She's directing an episode of Succession, which is awesome, season 3. So yeah, I think she's kind of maybe a little bit fed up from that experience. I hate to say it, like, because we remember that they brought in Chaz Stahelski late in the game to do action reshoots for Birds of Prey, and I think she didn't have as much control as she wanted to, and it sucks. But so I don't know if Margot wants her to come back. I think that would be the only thing that would pull her back in, but we'll see.
Wasn't she working with Margot on that Pirates of the Caribbean spinoff? Isn't that still in development?
Oh yeah, that got writers. I can't remember.
Yeah, like a female-led pirate spinoff. Like that sounds so.
I just have the most fond memory of watching Kathy Yan tear apart Grace Randolph's.
Loved it.
Legendary Twitter thread.
Right.
There was
just owned her.
So what are you talking about? I think that happened. So good.
So yeah, her and Kathy just seem to have a fantastic relationship. So I don't see that kind of going away anytime soon.
Yeah, you're right. I think that
because they're doing other things together, they seem to have a great collaborative experience. But yeah, but also James Gunn is a very good artist as well, and you kind of don't want to pass up doing a movie with James Gunn. Everybody seems to like him. So seems very exciting.
Absolutely. I think maybe we'll touch on like a couple more things because before I toss over to Evan the amazing Avatar news, let me just go ahead and knock out my Godzilla Kong stuff out of the way.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Just because.
Wait. Do we want to talk about Superman quick? We forgot that.
Oh shit!
Wow.
There's so much.
I mean, is there much to? There's not too much.
There's not much to discuss, but I guess we can talk about it real quick.
I mean, basically,
there's a couple Superman things. There's
yeah,
the JJ Superman.
JJ is producing this new Superman movie with the writer being Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yes.
Very, 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 very great writer. I loved him. He is a writer of a lot of great African books. And he also wrote a rebooted Black Panther book from 2018, I think. His Black Panther comics were fantastic. So he's a very good comic writer, a very good novelist. Like, this guy is as professional a writer as you can get.
And on the flip side of the news, also, it looks like WB is actually interested in looking for a black Superman to be portrayed on screen.
With that movie, right?
I think with the Abrams produced.
With the Abrams movie.
Which, hey, great. Love that.
Possibly Michael B. Jordan?
Which the scoop was that he had already been approached in 2019, and then that kind of fell apart because they kind of hadn't decided what they fully wanted to do with Superman.
Also,
at that
right
point.
now, the like half the internet's also blown up. Like, what about Henry? Like, I don't think this means Henry's like 100% out as
Oh, I
much as
think it does.
he's not like already gone. Because I think it's DC. There's a multiverse. You can have
You're right.
different
You're right.
portrayals. So if he
Oh,
ever wants to come
you think
back,
they would do a multiverse Superman? Like this would be like the Robert Pattinson kind
we're
of
gonna have
thing?
like 3 Batman.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, I didn't even think
I
about
mean,
that.
why not? And
Why not?
yeah.
I think while like we await whatever the hell is going on with Henry's deals, offers, or whatever, yeah, we can do this in the meantime, and then we can bring him back
Wow.
around.
You know what, Nathan? I love that idea. I love that idea a lot more. In terms of having Ta-Nehisi Coates have free reign. Granted, even if his movie is going to be set in the DCEU, I still think he would have free reign. But either way, they could have him do like his own thing, just like Matt Reeves, while also having Henry Cavill be the Superman of the Justice League universe, if they ever want to go back to that well.
You could tell you could tell a story of like one of the few like um not Superman like during the death of Superman era or something.
Yeah. Wow.
There's a lot of possibility there.
A lot of possibilities. But if this is set in the DCEU, if Henry Cavill is not going to come back, which not seeming likely, which is still crazy to me because Henry Cavill is a fantastic character.
It's been 8 years, guys.
Actor.
8 years.
I know, and he signed up for that. He signed up for that Mass Effect movie, perhaps.
Yep.
Heard about that. He's doing a Witcher TV series right now too.
He's booked and busy.
This man had his mustache digitally removed 4 years ago.
Wow, that was 4 years.
He got slammed by a helicopter hook and died off a cliff in Mission Impossible Fallout.
He's building.
Is Henry okay?
No.
Is he all right?
So yeah, I'm always gonna be excited for more Superman. I was never a big Superman fan when I was a kid, but Man of Steel and other animated shows really made me a big Superman fan. So I'll be excited for whatever they do next.
Awesome. This morning, IGN Fan Fest has been going on for a lot of different properties. I think that's actually where Zack Snyder debuted his Army of the Dead trailer.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pretty solid trailer. It was pretty fast, pretty short. But also, who's the director? I'm trying to remember. This
Adam something, right?
Is it Adam Wingard? It's not.
Adam
Wingard, correct.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yep.
All right, cool. I didn't want to like mess it up. It's like it's a different Adam.
Carson's so confident.
Yeah, we're looking up later like Adam. What?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, he took a lot of fan questions today about Godzilla vs. Kong before debuting a whole new clip, which is basically just more of an extended sequence of the intro Godzilla Kong meeting we see at the beginning of the trailer that we got. They're dropping a lot of TV spots. I gotta stop. I'm done. I'm done now. No more clips, please. It's about a month away. I'm ready. But yeah, he was given like different points. Like fans were asking questions. They were like in terms of Godzilla, like, are we gonna get more of like his point of view, like we're gonna get with Kong? And he was saying that we're actually gonna like spend a bit of time, just like the same way we do with humans, that we're gonna let like monsters tell their own, like flow the story in like their own perspectives, moving the plot forward. So we're like just as much time as you would spend like with a human, like moving along with the plot, we'll do the same thing with the monsters and their perspectives.
Wow, I love that.
I think he was also, and he was saying that like if by any chance, that by any miracle, like these movies can continue forward, that like the studio would be more open to doing that with future movies moving forward, of like more monster perspective, which is great.
Yeah, it's super smart. Like it's so funny because it seems like they're nearing the end of this monster kaiju universe, but that's the perspective they should have had from the beginning, right? Just like having these from the perspective of the monsters while still having human characters. You can say it from the perspective of the monster, which is what the main criticism has always been. So I think it's a very great quote from him.
Absolutely. I think he was also saying that there's more of a sense of like Godzilla being in more of a not necessarily villainous role, but he's definitely more like against humanity in a lot of parts. So he's been having like a lot of fun with playing with a more like bad Godzilla instead of like the pure savior that we get normally, which is fun. There would be other points where like people were asked like, "What's the deal with Sarazawa's kid and his point of views on the kaiju?" And he would say like, "Well, if I were to like properly answer that, it would give too much away." And
He
stuff.
definitely Mecha Godzilla. Come on.
No, for sure. No, okay. There's actually I can get into because like I think like in the last week there was a whole set visit to Godzilla vs Kong, and there was like some info that came out,
Okay.
bullet points. So this is like plot details, like for real. So
Yeah.
Godzilla vs Kong is set 5 years after King of the Monsters, a whole 5 years.
And Millie Bobby Brown looks exactly the same.
It looks a little different. It's all right. The Hollow Earth is going to be a big threat to the surface.
The mountain isn't upside down.
No, it's Hollow Earth, baby. That's Kong's home. That's where we're going. Which it was my prevailing theory that Godzilla will remain king of the monsters on the surface, whereas like Kong will become King Kong of Hollow Earth. For sure. There's also an evil version of Monarch called Apex is doing shady experiments. That's the facilities Godzilla is trying to like hunt and attack. Basically, that's like more like against humanity point of view for Godzilla. There's also like another interesting point that was intriguing me is that Ghidorah still like semi haunts the film in essence.
I feel like it's gonna be like Han Solo's ghost, like Han Solo haunts the, you know what I mean? When Ryan
Where's
came up with that
where's
quote,
Ghidorah?
and everyone's like,
They cut to Godzilla's
"Is he a
face.
Force ghost?"
They cut the Godzilla's face in the elevator after asking where Ghidorah is.
Oh my god!
No, but no, this actually makes sense, especially after taking Ted. Okay, so there's a straight up set photo. Insane that they released this. It's straight up like it's the interior of a Ghidorah skull, and it's like it's a full on like place of like seating, like you're on the fucking like Enterprise ship or something. Like that's probably the control HUD of Mechagodzilla. It's straight up they built it into the skull.
So they are actually going to continue on with that post-credit scene from King of the Monsters because I was always kind of like wondering like how does that connect to Mechagodzilla or what they're doing in this movie.
And I think that's like going to be what's upsetting Godzilla so much is like they're still using like the like Ghidorah essence built off of that still around.
To then use that to create Mechagodzilla, you're saying?
Yeah, kind of build around that, which is not dissimilar to like in the original movies. They built Mecha King Ghidorah, but I think like for marketing wise, we're going to just like keep it simple and go Mechagodzilla.
Exactly.
Because that's what they did is like when Godzilla destroyed Mecha Ghidorah, they built Mechagodzilla out of the remains of that. I think they're just going to skip ahead to like we'll take the remains of normal Ghidorah and we'll make a Mechagodzilla, which totally makes sense. And I think somewhere in between there, we're going to get caught in like some crossfire with Godzilla and Kong. Not to say that they're not having a purposeful fight, because the director was also confirming like, no, it's legitimately them. They're fighting. They're at odds, and one will definitively lose a fight. Man. So that's exciting. I have a prevailing theory for me of Godzilla vs. Kong is that I think, in essence, the beginning will be kind of like a mishap of like Godzilla needs to move, so it's like get out of my way, and Kong's just like you're messing with these people that are kind of I'm trying to look after like this child, like knock it off. So I think there'll be like an interaction there, and then Kong's probably gonna. I think Kong is gonna lose that fight because they were like showing like there was this TV spot that came out like
yeah, he's like underwater, like
yeah, there was that, but there was also another one where like he's just like straight up laying down defeated.
It seems like there's two fights, right? The one where we see the water fight where they first meet, which seems like a Godzilla victory, but then the one in Japan at night with King Kong having the axe.
Which I think he's going to pick up from the Hollow Earth. We're going to get there first, and then we'll be going up. Because I think Kong's ancestry has like a threat against the Godzilla kind. That's why they have the axe to help defeat such a monster. But then also Godzilla's probably of a misunderstanding, just like get out of my way. But also, if he's like working with the humans and Godzilla is thinking like the humans are doing bad, shady stuff, then I could see where the conflict would arise. And I think one of them will fight and will fall, just lose the fight, not die. And then I can see them both kind of doing like a really badass tag team against Mechagodzilla himself, because I can also see Mechagodzilla himself like glitching out and going rogue, which has happened before, and that would be way more intriguing to me.
This movie is going to be incredible.
Also, there was a great moment in like this existing TV spot where Kong does sign language to the child.
Oh, I did see that actually on the timeline.
Oh, I didn't see that. Interesting.
Yeah, he's talking to the girl.
People were like, did the monkey speak? Like,
yeah, so they're lying to me.
I was like, God damn, they keep calling him a monkey. Like 2 separate times they call him monkey, and I'm like, okay.
I just think about the rise, the guy in from the first War for the Planet of the Apes, Rise or whatever. I get the order mixed up.
It's Rise.
Rise Dawn War.
Okay. Yeah, Rise, when the one guy is just like has no respect for him and brings the guns with, like, they're like, does the monkeys, like, you know, just like that kind of deal.
It reminds me of honestly Skull Island, where
yeah,
who's it? Toby Kebbell, I think. He's like, is that a monkey?
Yeah.
He's also doing the same. He's doing the mocap.
I gotta rewatch that movie. I haven't rewatched it since theaters.
Did you though?
Carson, you and I, we're doing the watch.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. We're gonna do that.
We're gonna start those.
That's coming up.
So that'd be fun.
I'll watch them too. That seems like fun.
Yeah,
full live stream.
My stepdad loves the King Kong movie. He keeps watching that one, so I've seen that one a lot.
It's fun.
Nice.
But yeah, this film is going to be really exciting. Like, they keep just showing like little bits here and there. There's these small TV slots, but every time I just see something, I'm just like, three times opening day, I will be there. Man,
Yeah.
I'm ready, man. I love these movies so much. I'm not here for quality. I'm here for fun.
Well, to transition, we should probably just do one more topic and wrap up. We got it for quality. We're getting some quality Avatar: The Last Airbender content from the co-creators themselves in the absolute shade of this announcement for the Paramount Plus. Say what you want about Paramount Plus. I think it's going to be probably a failure of a service. However, I don't care. We're getting, and Evan's gonna tell you why.
I'm already paying CBS All Access so I can watch Big Brother and Survivor and all that shit. So I'm like, you know what? Why not? Avatar Studios. I'll pay whatever. I'll pay $20 a month for some Avatar content, even though we're probably gonna get far away from that. Anyways. Yeah, Mike and Brian, part of Paramount Plus, is creating their own studio called Avatar Studios for Nickelodeon and for Paramount Plus. This is going to be a mix of animated series, animated movies, animated short stories, and an animated theatrical film, which is first up. They are doing the first project is already lined up, an animated theatrical film set to begin production this year.
That's such a flex. I love it
That's
so
incredible. Like,
take note, Lucasfilm.
Right?
Please.
Right? Like, I can't even imagine. Like, I love the Avatar series so much. Probably my favorite series of all time. And just imagine seeing that on the big screen, like with updated graphics and effects. Like, this came out like 15 years ago. Like, this is crazy. So wow. And yeah, Mike and Brian have a quote saying, like, it's been 19 years since they created Avatar. They can't wait to tell more stories and time periods within Aang's world. So this could be before Aang became the Avatar. There's a famous like Kyoshi book. Avatar Kyoshi was like the Earth Avatar before Aang, and before the other fire one. What was that?
And I think one of the things you were tweeting, because you were really hyped, one of the suggestions you had was adapting the comic continuation of Avatar.
They could definitely do that too, which would be incredible. There's certain comic books describing how Aang and Zuko handled the Earth Nation crisis after the series ends, because the Earth Nation is still recovering.
And doesn't it also have like a redemption for Azula?
Potentially.
Potentially?
Yeah, because
doesn't that break down what happened to Zuko's mom?
Yeah, there's a whole comic book series about what happened to Zuko's mom, them looking for Zuko's mom, which correlates with Azula, who is still very much so crazy and antagonistic, but of course
They can
very
explore that,
sympathetic towards her mom. The reveal for her mom is very emotional in the comic book.
Mm.
But yeah, so they can explore that. And then there's Legend of Korra, right? So there's a whole gap between Aang and Legend of Korra, which they could explore. And there's a whole gap set after Legend of Korra as well for comic books as well. I mean, there's just so many different time periods, so many different possibilities. And I'm just so excited for Mike and Brian having full freaking control over their world that they created. This is one of the most creative and artistic worlds ever created, I think.
Boy,
and
that
there's so
Netflix
many
series-
possibilities.
The Netflix series
is dead now.
is good.
It's dead. Bury it.
If it still happens, like it might be the most like shunned series in a while. Like it's gonna be like bad. Like it's gonna not just like quality wise, but like people in the fandom will be like, no, like this is not.
They're changing the age of Katara to make her older than Zuko, or older than Sokka, which in the same age as Zuko. I mean, which could lead to like a possible Zuko and Katara romance, which wasn't in the original series, but a lot of fans would want that.
Would that if that was Endgame moving forward? Does that affect
that would destroy Legend? That would destroy Legend of Korra.
Yeah,
but at this point, I don't know if the Netflix people even care. They're so stupid. I mean, I was so optimistic towards a live action Avatar only because Mike and Brian were doing it. Now that it's not, now it seems like Mike and Brian are only doing animated. I'm like, okay, cool. So even Avatar Studios could do live action in the future as well. That's not off the cards. Man, I mean, this is just super exciting for me. Like, I just love when creators have full control over their properties and nobody can mess it up. And Nickelodeon notoriously kind of screwed over Mike and Brian for the last 2 seasons of Legend of Korra. For season 3 and season 4, it got kicked off of Nickelodeon, and you can only watch it on the website, which was pretty crazy. But now Nickelodeon came calling back to them because Paramount Plus needs some content.
Yeah, and look how popular Avatar was on Netflix last summer when it dropped. It was for weeks.
1000%, Carson. It was the #1 show on Netflix around the world. The #1 animated show ever. It's just insane. So there's still a lot of popularity for this series that came out 15 years ago. So
I only saw it for like the first time in the past year. Yeah. And I remember it was like one night I was drinking. And I was like, they did like a whole plot reveal of like Zuko's lineage, and I was like, excuse me?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, my
that
Instagram
episode.
story, that was a mess.
Fantastic.
It's also good. But yeah, dude, I'm super hyped for that. Before we wrap up, real quick, did you guys want to do some reviews? Watch anything?
I didn't see much.
Yeah, I didn't watch anything.
Oh, I saw I Care a Lot. I Care a Lot. Real quick, fantastic movie. Rosamund Pike is one of the best lead actress performances I've seen all year. It's very tense. It's comedic. It's a thriller. It has a great mix of a comedic, dark thriller, dark comedy. It's very well done. It's one of my favorite movies I've seen all year. Probably like my 1 or 2 or 3 movies of the year. It's so good. Loved it. And a great cast of characters. It's very vibrant. And the plot's very unpredictable, too. A lot of things I didn't see coming. It's very reminiscent of like a promising young woman. So I really recommend I Care a Lot on Netflix. I think it's still the #1 movie on Netflix. Yeah. You guys are going to love it. It's a great movie to watch.
Nice. I watched a couple things. Starting off, I went to go see Judas and the Black Messiah in theaters.
Yes.
I caught it in Dolby Cinema. Alone, I was the only one in there. Whole premium auditorium to myself. That was cool. That was lucky. So I got to experience that, and that was wow. Let me just say, like that was a really good one. I really loved the pacing. I remember Evan was saying on the podcast, like there was a couple of moments you said kind of dragging in pacing.
Yeah, towards like the middle part. Yeah,
I didn't really get that. I was pretty like locked in the whole time. I really loved the performances of both Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield. I think they both were phenomenal.
And his girlfriend. I unfortunately don't remember her name, but I loved her character too.
Oh, she was great. I was like thinking like just the fact that they were both in here. I was like, oh, this is like a cool Get Out reunion.
Yeah.
Carson, did you see it?
I haven't seen it yet. I've been slacking completely.
Okay.
I need to get to it. I need to catch up especially before it comes out of HBO.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was really good, and like by the end, like there was like
Man.
a couple moments I should have jumped because I was like, oh, and things were going. By the end, for sure, I shed some tears, man. Like it was really intense. I
Very
thoroughly
sad.
enjoyed it. It was very well done. And then come the following day, or a couple days later, last night I went to the IMAX showing one night only of the Billie Eilish documentary that is premiering on Apple TV.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, The World's a Little Blurry, it's called.
I remember you talking about this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because
Yeah.
Neon did the distribution for that.
Really? Neon?
Yeah, Neon did the distribution.
Interesting. I didn't know you were a Billie Eilish fan.
A little bit. More so now, honestly. I walked out, I was like, all right, Spotify, here we go.
It's just on the way home. You're like, hey, Uber driver. Like,
Yeah, she's really good.
No, honestly, like she was great, and it was great hearing her music in IMAX. The whole film, the whole doc was really nice to watch. Experience. There was quite a few people in my auditorium. Honestly, I think like 30.
Wow. It doesn't surprise me, actually. She's got a huge fan base.
Yeah, they were all definitely like big fans for sure. Also, it was in the IMAX, just to preface, where that seats over 200 people, so
Yeah.
it's a good space out. But yeah, it was like really good. I wouldn't say it was just like boils down to something of just like the sad artist, but like it's this girl who was only like 17 when she was like really starting out with this. Like Chronicles.
I thought she was 15 or like even something like that.
Well, yeah, she was like been singing since she was like.
Oh, when she got fame though, yeah.
Yeah, like really like the stuff like rolling, and it was interesting because like you get to see like the different points of view of like doing like famous like music video moments or performances, like stuff at Coachella or stuff like that, and like but then also navigating like she's just like a teenage girl as well, like living at home with her family, even though like they're living quite comfortably. It's like, you know, you were still a adolescent who is like running through your mind different things.
Did they talk about her doing the Bond soundtrack?
It did, which was
really? I was just joking.
They got to a point where she was recording "No Time to Die," which was
awesome.
Which was funny to me because like the whole time I have avoided that song because I wanted to hear it the first time when I saw "No Time to Die," but it's been so long, and at the point it popped up, I was like, "All right, we're here."
Just fuck it. Yeah,
and it was sounding pretty good. I was like, "Oh, all right."
Yeah,
I
remember hearing it a little bit. I'm like, I want to get the full experience.
I heard it once. It's good.
Honestly, it's like really like. I'd say it's pretty humbling for like her character for sure, because she's like someone who just like kind of like throws away her I'm talented. No, I suck. Like I'm no good. Like she's very like self-conscious. She's like all of her recordings are mostly done like in her brother's room, like because they're like they both make the music together. Like it's very like small production stuff. She like will direct her own music videos because she has like her specific visions and stuff. Like she goes to like do performances and she doesn't want to like she is like so self-conscious that like if she screws up something she'd rather not do the show at all than give a bad performance, stuff like that. She's like that, like caring about stuff and her fans and all that. And it's I loved it a lot. It was a really good time. I'd say I'd definitely check it out.
Awesome.
And when does it premiere on Apple TV? I can't remember. Is it out? Is it come out?
Probably in 2 weeks, maybe.
Probably.
I think it's where it's March something, like March.
It's probably gonna be the same day as Cherry. Two highly anticipated movies.
I think it's March 12th or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Or March. Yeah.
But yeah. Otherwise, don't have too much more. I did not watch Tom and Jerry today, but I probably will catch it.
Forgot about that as well. Yeah. There's just so much where, you can tell.
So much content, right, Scorsese?
So much content.
Death of cinema. No. So yeah, I think that'll about wrap it up here. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed our show today. Carson, where could they find you?
You guys can find me over on Twitter at @thefilmcarson. Just being insanely busy with school and work and all sorts of things. But yeah, just good to be relaxing this weekend. Good to watch I Care a Lot. Hopefully Judas the Black Messiah this weekend. Maybe Tom and Jerry if I'm feeling nostalgic for cartoon days. You know what? Also, I'm not watching any of that. I'm watching Young Justice this weekend. Evan's got me on Young Justice. I'm like already like almost through season 1. Like, it is such a good
Yes.
animated show. I was not. I was expecting it to be good because Evan said it was good, but I'm just like, how is nobody talking about this show? Like, it is like that good. Like, it's really awesome.
It's excellent.
And you don't have to
Kaufman
know
is-
anything about the characters. Like, you just
Nope.
dive in. It like perfectly explains everything you need to know.
Do you have a favorite character so far?
I really like Robin, and I
Mhm.
really like I like what they're doing with Superboy so far.
Me too.
And yeah, I really like that arc so far.
Evan, so far, me too.
Yeah,
I
and
know.
and Martian Manhunter's niece is pretty cool too. What's her
Miss
name?
Martian.
Miss
yeah.
Martian. She's
Megan.
awesome.
Hello,
Yeah.
Megan.
Yeah, Young Justice, guys. It's on HBO Max. I'll
Watch
hype
it.
it up more on Twitter this weekend. But yeah, that's it for me.
Evan, where can they find you?
Find me on Twitter at HarrisEv9. Next week's going to be fun. I am notoriously a huge Survivor and Big Brother fan. I'm continuing to watch the old seasons of Survivor, but Big Brother Canada 9 starts on Wednesday. So you will see a lot more Big Brother tweets from me over the next
We're
couple
checking
of
the
months.
live feeds.
You know it. I'm getting a Canadian VPN. I'm getting like that NordVPN shit. I'm supposed to watch Canadian live feeds while I'm trying to struggle through grad school. It is going to be rough, but that's going to be my life for the next couple of months. Besides that, yeah, I'm continuing to watch some good anime like Attack on Titan every Sunday. So I'll always be tweeting about that as well. Fun stuff.
And as always, you can catch me reacting to WandaVision one last time this coming week before we break down next week's for the full finale, which I believe we will be having Emma on for that, which would be great. As well as you will get reviews from me of both Ryan the Last Dragon and Chaos Walking, because I will be seeing them both back to back on Friday. So I will just be exhausted as hell on Friday.
Yeah, I'm gonna see him next. I think Kelly and I are both. She wants to see both, so I'm like, yeah, I'll go. Like, let's go. So
nice.
Also, it's refreshing to see that they actually have like Thursday night screenings for those again.
I know.
I'm going on Friday, but like it's cool because like all the HBO Max stuff they've used like the Friday day of, so it's like, like I missed the the theatrics of opening night, but they're coming back, so
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun for sure. And then we'll have a little break, and then we'll hit Falcon and Winter Soldier weekly, I'm sure.
It doesn't stop. We have no breaks.
It doesn't stop. No.
Never stops. Even if Loki's pushed back to like June, we still have like Bad Batch in May.
And we've had like one show on hiatus for a couple of weeks now. We forgot about our other show. We're going on break on Star Wars, and then when now that comes back, oh man, never ends.
But with that being said, if you enjoyed our podcast, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already. And that being said, I hope you have a great day, and may the Force be with you always.